Hey everyone, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you, Lucas, for tier 1. Appreciate it a lot. Hi, Sin. I'm difficult. Musket. Fuck Team Peps. Wolfman. Banging tunes. Can we skip the whole talking and vid part today? I've been enjoying a lot of what do you call it? I guess older music lately. I've been reading. Maybe Can I tell you guys? I've been reading. I say reading. I've been listening to an audiobook of Eric Idle, who is who was in Monty Python, and as such, I'm reading. It's an autobiography, so I'm reading a lot of stories that are obviously set very much around the 70s and 80s. And he's hanging out with many celebrities, as you would imagine. So a lot of these people are on my mind. Obviously, one of the people he hangs out with most is George Harrison, who is a Beatle. So I was looking at George Harrison, but obviously there's just like a large body of work, right? So I don't really know where to start. So I'll probably just start listening to some of that. Just cop some of the albums and see how it goes, really. I'm sure all of it will be pretty good, honestly. Feeling kind of tired today. Had to wake up early again for scrims. And Chris was flying today, so Chris wasn't there for scrims. So I was full substitute teacher, and it's fair to say, fucking won 'em all when I was there. Fucking won 'em all, no problem. No problem. Can't say, Fitch. Can't say. But just so you know, won 'em all. Won 'em all. I mean, it's true, TVNT. You can't argue with the results. Can't argue with the results. What's this Faith, Pokerface TM Twitter drama about? Is this not just the signing thing again? Did something else happen? SSG about to sign X? Well, they already kind of have, no? As a streamer, though, not as a real coach. Just streaming. Just hanging out, you know? Just hanging out. Doing my bit. Do you remember ages ago on Uncoachable? Where we said things that might be construed as negative or as criticism about the broadcast, about, you know, putting in the work, researching, being ready for the upcoming meta, and everything like that. You know, just trying to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. So I've been up, I've actually watched 6 fucking blocks in 2 days, you know? Fucking back-to-back triple blocks starting at 6 a.m. I think it's fair to say I'm taking it seriously for these co-streams. I'm taking it seriously. Does it rhyme with Brazy Bracoon and Broonto? No, it actually doesn't. Actually doesn't, Plum. Well, I can't keep playing this guessing game though because there's a limited number of guesses, and you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out too quickly because you guys are smart. What's the meta right now? I can't say either because obviously, if I say what I think the meta is, it's inadvertently me leaking what SSG are playing as well, which well, a lot of teams might be aware of. Obviously, most teams aren't playing teams within their group, so don't want to give anything away. There's no way. They posted that Faith left yesterday, but the whole thing is in Korean. Is it because they signed a fixer? And they can't have 2, I guess. I don't know why that would mean they would kill Faith and not kill Fixer. I guess it's like a really awkward situation, right? Hey, Andra. Is Rascal coaching Zeta or he's joining as a player? He's coaching. Coach him. I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, Rascal's joined, and then I was like, oh yeah, that must be why he joined the scrim earlier. And I was like, oh, maybe you could have figured this one out a little bit before the tweet. Maybe it was possible. I mean, Rascal is such a fucking stalwart of pro Overwatch. Can just walk in anywhere, join any lobby, and everyone just presumes it's right. I didn't tell you. I said I've watched 2 days of scrims, and today was the one we won them all, so you have no idea which way round it is. You guys need to listen more carefully, or you're going to end up spreading misinformation. The words were chosen carefully to make the time frame particularly vague. What team are we previewing today? So we're going to finish Virtus Pro, and then there's only one more Virtus Pro. I can bring it up, but there's only one more Virtus Pro game I think I'm actively interested in watching. I don't know if I want to watch the Twisted Minds one, because I feel like it will just be shit. Oh, you want to trade Scrimvods? Have I not mind to trade, Fix? You're asking the wrong person. I'm just a guy who hangs out in places. Is it bad I'm considering a Farage cameo and getting into Wishgood? No, I think they'd love that. I think they'd love that. Any takeaways from watching a bit of it? Yeah, I actually think VP are mainly the architects of their own downfall. No, not scrims. Why does everyone is... You know this is the biggest tournament of the year, right? This is the biggest fucking tournament of the year for every team involved. And you think the scrims will just be, it'll just be available? They'll just be thrown out there? What would you do in their situation, huh? Put yourselves in their shoes. What would you do? Maybe if we ask nicely, it can't hurt, right? Give it a crack. At least one. Yeah, give it a crack. Yeah, I think NSV Crazy Raccoon will be a hard one to get hold of. You don't care about their shoes because they only have everyone's been made for scene so boring by being content adverse. Wow, Banter Life coming out firing. But it makes 100. Even if teams were super scrim-pilled, like stream scrim-pilled, they wouldn't stream these ones. Like, it would be insane. For a lot of people, this is like most of the money they're going to earn this year on the back of this tournament, you know? There's like, the stakes are huge. The stakes are huge. Can you tell us if EU teams are doing okay against Korean teams in scrims? Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. You should accidentally go live mid-scrim. Fuck me. Every time it's funny you say that. Every time I turn up in the lobby. Always get just fucking harassed and get questions, you know? Just fucking like people asking me like, are you, streaming it? Streaming it? Oh, streaming it. Oh, streaming it? No! I have to tell all these Koreans I'm not streaming it. You get a Farage one for half the price that you can get a Mitch Hoover Leslie one? Well, I think you know which one to get then, don't you? Oh, I misread it. Oh, Farage's double Uber? Yeah, I think it's worth it though, right? Do the Koreans know you stream scrims? Yeah. Yeah. They all recognize me. Like all the coaches recognize me. Obviously, back in the day when I was, especially when I was streaming a lot of the EMEA ones, I think Junkbuck and stuff was sub so he could see VODs, as well as a few of the other players and stuff as well. So I think they're all aware of it, especially since I guess like the caliber of scrims I normally get is pretty good. So they're somewhat interested. Understandably so. I feel like people use this word sandbag all the time. Ever since Monte Cristo introduced that word in like what was it, Overwatch League season 1 or something, introduced the word sandbagging. I feel like everyone uses the word sandbagging, whereas anyone actually witnessed a case of sandbagging in their entire lives. In their entire lives, in any situation, any example of sandbagging. Nick's all in stage 4. Thank great Captain Ravage, great. Koreans before Dallas. What evidence do you have that they were sandbagging? Shanghai in the first season. Good shout. Hey, Oren. I don't think a single team ever sandbags. Shanghai and Dallas of a Countdown Cup? Oh, you're going to have to remind me. But I'd be really surprised. Let's see. Countdown. I just type in Countdown Cup to bring it up. Remind me of the situation. I'm sorry to say, Ondra, but you're actually a fucking client. If I was made of money, I'd be sending you a Client of the Week t-shirt right now. What do you think was more likely? Now, the Koreans were so fucking good, so fucking unbelievably talented. Now, they knew they could win on a brand new comp. They knew they could win on a brand new comp, playing into a comp they hadn't played into before. So they didn't even worry about it. Didn't worry about playing and learning and doing anything like that. What they did is they already knew, and they just actively sandbagged through the games to give the EMEA teams false confidence. Do you think it's that? Or they were genuinely losing those scrims, and what happened during those scrims is they adapted and learnt from those scrims and improved their playstyle and found workarounds for the big things that they were having problems with. Which one's more likely, huh? How much to stream scrims tomorrow? You'd have to cover all my esports World Cup expenses. Moon and Rush didn't like going to Hawaii, so they decided not to try in the Countdown Cup. Do you have a source on this? This sounds made up. Because also, did they even have to go to Hawaii? What teams were they on at the time? You can get the Korean uncoachable translation. Yeah, if you've got the link, we can have a peep, but I still think, Losing scrims to not dropping a maps is sus. Why is it? They didn't kick. Oh, you guys are actually. It's actually unbelievable. You guys ask me to stream scrims, right? You guys are asking me to stream scrims. But I don't think it fucking matters if I stream scrims. Because you have no fucking way to interpret any of this information correctly, is what you're proving to me. You have no way to interpret it correctly, so there's no point actually showing you any scrims anyway, because it would just be money down the fucking drain, you know. Hey, Storbs. Yeah, like, the Malga comp is not straightforward to beat the Sigma comp. There is a relatively even matching, right? Scrims are about learning. It's on page 14. Oh, fuck me. You know it's going to be good when they say it's on page 14. Weren't you guys like the worst team in scrims before season 5? Not really, no. Scrims were fine. The very start was bad, but once we were all there and we had a roster, it wasn't that bad. Once Landon actually played the game for a little bit. Because obviously, if you remember, that was the one. Oh wait, season 5? Yeah, that was the one with a game change, right? All right, where am I? Let me bring it up so you can see it as well. Hold on. Is it the Shanghai Dragons topic, or is it a bit after that? Oh, this is page 14. Okay. I joked once to Team CC that this was what they existed for, Scrim in Shanghai. I really should have bought them a thank you meal. They told us they would make an offline stage for us in Shanghai, and it was bad. The desk sizes were so tiny, kids would move their mouse and hit the next size keyboard. So I called Blizzard, if they don't shrink the Hawaii desk to this level, we are just going to refuse to play. Like, if you don't change this for us, we can't win because we don't have the room to move our mice. Then Aid said, I will say as a representative of the Western teams, was that the desk had room right, but the issues were all the desks were shaky once you move the mouse. Yeah, this was a huge drama in season 5 playoffs, actually. Huge drama. Interesting fact is we were originally supposed to play that season finals in Dallas, but I don't remember which team it was. Maybe Chengdu that said they wouldn't do it, so they shifted to Hawaii. I remember the Blizzard reps were really patting themselves on the back, saying for Cup we were so smart and genius. I couldn't think, but the ping is constantly 100, while Hob was playing like 40. We couldn't do this any better. Moon says Hawaii is nice though. Rush says it was nice. Moon says it was, wasn't it? I feel like, am I missing something here? I feel like none of this is... I'll keep reading. Rush says, it was the first time, but we had to go every time. We went 4 times. Honestly, the 3rd and 4th time was miserable. The Countdown Cup, we didn't go right. Every player was so happy about not going to the Countdown Cup. The Glads won it. We didn't want to do it either. We lost to basically everyone on purpose, but didn't want to lose to Seoul at all. I don't know. I don't believe this for a second. I think they're just, like, talking shit. If scrims were a good indicator, G2 would have had with like 5 LoL World Championships, and Northrago would be blow for blow. No, Landon was never temporary. He was obviously a backup choice because we fired Rem, but it was never a temporary thing. Like once we got Landon in, that was just like we were set with Landon for the rest of the year. Never any intentions or plans to replace him. Yeah, I don't know. Just feels like they didn't like going to Hawaii after a while. I mean, Hawaii is a really nice place to go visit, but the actual venue and setup was pretty shit. We were just in like some small fucking room on some college campus. It really wasn't that nice to set up. But obviously getting to go to Hawaii is pretty great, right? I imagine that's a thing that lots of people don't get to do for free. But I think they are like, this is like hyperbole. I don't think taking this as literal. This is like hyperbole for like, fuck me, didn't want to go to that shithole again. Lost all the games on purpose, you know? I think sometimes when you read something, it makes everything, like when it's written, everything sounds a little bit more serious than it is. I think this is way more of a joke and shit talk and having to go to Hawaii a bunch than like a real a real example of sandbagging, unfortunately. Alright, I need to find these games now, because this is the one I want. But I don't know where it is. What teams get fucked hardest by the Esports World Cup format? Hero bans especially. I mean, well, the obvious answer are the teams with limited flexibility, right? Limited flexibility or limited creativity as well. Because I don't know, after watching for a couple of days, there are some things that do become problems, but actually there's loads of solutions. There's loads of solutions you can find to a bunch of problems, and loads of unexpected solutions. So I think teams with really limited hero pools will obviously have a bit of a problem, right? But I don't know if they'll make as big a difference as maybe people think. But like, there will be a buff to certain teams like Toronto and Crazy Raccoon, and for more like ban-proof teams. How many teams do you think will ban Ball against Crazy Raccoon? Loads. I mean, Jumpin's in a particularly good position, right? Because you take Ball away from him because it's a broken pick for Jumpin, honestly. But his Winston, his Doom is really good as well, right? So it's like you can take some of it away, but you can't take you can pick which one you take away, essentially, you know? Peak Shanghai 2021. Did they actually lose their games? Hold on, where are we? Countdown Cup. Which Shanghai was this? Let's see. Past them? Oh yeah, this was like the elite one, right? Where am I going? So we went 2-2. And then what was after this chronologically? Playoffs? Was it right before playoffs? Was there a big meta shift or something? I mean, the problem I really have with the concept of sandbagging is the idea of sandbagging is is the idea that it's like a conscious choice. You know? Like if I use football as an example, right? So tell me if this works. I might lose some of the Americans on this. But think about the Carling Cup, right? Lots of people will not take the Carling Cups that seriously and will play a bunch of youngsters. And as a result, they might lose, right? Because they've not taken it as seriously, right? Because they've just played some of their youngsters or some of their bench players or everything like this, right? So did they sandbag? Kind of, but not really, right? They just played a weaker team because they prioritized something else. Which sounds more like what Shanghai are doing here, like, let's not burn ourselves out trying really hard for this. Let's just fucking play, not scrim as much, see what happens. And then as a result, you probably lose more, right? If you practice less. That seems like a pretty reliable correlation. Yeah, like, because that's the real problem with sandbagging, is what you're implying is they're intentionally losing rather than just not trying as hard, you know? I hate young people? Why do I hate young people? So when you say stuff like playing Who Are You instead, that sounds more like that to me than like an active decision to try and lose all the games, you know? Do you think TM can now win against Peps? I mean, it depends what the meta is. I think they're reasonably close in skill level. I don't know if they'll meet though, right? Which way was the bracket? Yeah, it's kind of really 50-50 whether they meet, because they're both pretty likely to be third in their group, right? I've seen some of the prices, Archie, but I've not like done a test boot camp or something. Closer than before? I mean, by before, do you mean... Did they even play here? Where am I looking? Did they even play here? Oh, in this one, sorry. Yeah, closer than this one for sure. Yeah, I reckon closer than this one. This was probably the worst Twisted Minds performance I've ever seen. Do you think they still would have blown up? Yeah. I don't think the Korea bootcamp. I mean, unless I'll be happy to be corrected by someone who's actually there, but I don't think the Korea bootcamp had anything to do with it. Like, if two players have a problem with each other, that's just the way these things go, you know. Ortega is 5.5 mil, which is Mornan Martinez. Well, he's meant to be the starter, is he not? They're selling Edison, is the word on the street, you know. So I imagine Ortega's actually been priced as a starting goalkeeper. Dallas Fuel Edison? No. Edison's ain't not going anymore? What was it? Just the valuation was too much of a problem? Was it like I heard it was a 30 million bid, but they wanted 50 million or something like that. I mean, what can you do, TVNT? You tell them the situation, and everyone just, once everyone has an idea, you know, they will just believe that idea until they die. You see it in everything. Every sport, everything. They bought another keeper now? Oh, okay, so the Edison bid is dead. No nuance around here. Well, this is why I remember when I was doing the player rankings, right? I was doing the player rankings, and I was trying to think of like different ways to break up the tiers and all of this. You know, like what's the fairest way to measure flexibility against form, against historical precedent, you know, depending on how recently they played. And what became apparent to me is a lot of people aren't interested in that. For a lot of people, don't worry about all these different tiers. For most people, there's just two tiers. There is the tier where they're the GOAT, and the tier where the player should kill themselves. And these are the only two tiers that people want to put players in. Nobody wants to talk about form or trending up or trending down or different situations. It's just they're the GOAT or they should kill themselves. And these are the two extremes. These are the two extremes that most people want to see things in. Which is, I guess, a bit of a shame. But also, I mean, it happens in everything, though. I'm sure if anyone watches football or NFL or NBA or anything, rugby, all these things are a pretty common trait. What was I? I was trying to find his face at playoffs, actually. Where is it? Where's like the actual official channel VOD. This one? This one. Maybe. Is it under here? Just watch for Tomofin highlights. Counter-Strike, Apex, Dota, Fighters, Dota. Overwatch, day 1. Overwatch, day 2. 3, 4, 5. Which day would it have been? Day 4 for this one. All right, good shout. Thank you. Cop it. Get rid of chat. There we go. All right. Would you ever do a player ranking with the players in order of their tiers? Nah, it'll just take a lot of time for, I think, not a lot of gain. Because the reason I do it like this is because we found this useful in the Overwatch League off season, right? Because forget about, don't look at any of the individuals here, but just think about the concept of how you would actually use this in a situation where you're actually trying to measure the strength of your team, or you're trying to figure out the best way to upgrade your roster or something like that, right? Is that it's not about getting a player most of the time that's like 2% better or 3% better. What you're interested in is where you can make the jump up, you know? If you can make a jump up a tier with a signing, or if you can build a roster that gives you a particular strength in one field or another, you know? So the tier breaks for me were always like the most important bit of like, can we get a player who feels like a genuine upgrade, or can we find like a real difference maker here, you know? Rather than exactly just like a 1 to 100 list, you know? I mean, I could do it, but it's just the sort of thing that would take a lot of time. And I would rather watch the Overwatch as well. I think one thing that's a lot of people are guilty of, and this isn't like I'm going to criticize for fans, but this isn't really a criticism of the fans. Maybe it's a criticism of some of the punditry, but just in general, I feel like people are often way more interested in having like this conversation, which I understand and it is fun, but actually watching the game a lot of the time, you know? Like all of my opinions, maybe not all of my opinions, but so many of my opinions have shifted over the course of this last week or so by actually watching the games. Watching the games again, maybe pausing, having a look and going through all these things, right? And I'm sure if I watched the replays and got an even like, what do you call it, more in depth or more multi-angled view, it'd probably shift my opinions even more again, you know? I mean, I do like using spreadsheets, but you know what I mean? Like, this is like a bit of a job at the end. A bit of a job at the end. Whereas, like, if I was to divide the work to making this, the making of this, like the actual listing of people, should be like 5% or 10% of a job at most. And then like 90 or 95% should be fucking research, you know? So like I think the spreadsheet has value, but it's about like where we dedicate our thing, you know what I mean? Like there's no value in me booting up a stream and just talking about the rankings here every single time, right? It's all about the research. Gala better than Lenksa? Has Lenksa done anything off? This is what I mean. I'm gonna swap offness because it baits people into talking about it. But it's about where the value is. Lenksa should be. Has Lenksa played anything but Brig recently? He played Lucio in the League Scrim. True, they lost that though. Yeah, a long time ago, Hadidas, a long time ago, like back when LGD had first started scrimming again. This is what I mean. This is what I mean by like people have like a view in their head. Let's see what Gala does versus Crazy Raccoons. So, if you want, if you want the actual argument here, do you not think rather than having, so let's say if we look at all of these Lucios are kind of in one big blob, right? I'll put Lengster in there, even though we've not seen it in ages, right? All of these sit in one big blob, right? But one of these players has an insane high peak. That might not win you all the maps, but it might win you one or two of the maps, right? And because it's not just a good peak, it's an insane peak compared to everyone else's ability to play double flex support. Who actually has a double flex support? At this event, who has a double flex support and that's viable? I mean, they actually, on those heroes, they probably put a decent gap even on, like, it's better than anything Crazy Raccoon can do, right? Violet is obviously the exception here, right? Violet's the exception, and obviously Falcons have the addition of Magid as well if they really want to take that kind of thing. Wouldn't you rather have consistency over peak? Yeah, but what do you mean by consistency? I actually don't think you do. Like, in this, because what you need to do, if you are the underdog team, right? If you are the underdog team in a series, and let's not get it mistaken, I think most of these teams who aren't the elite Korean teams are underdogs in these series, right? Then what you need is peaks. What you need is peaks. Because if you have let's say this is a bar graph, right? And across the bottom, you might have seen this yesterday if you're here. Across the bottom, you have heroes, and then there's the y-axis is skill. So you have someone who's maybe a bit like this, right? Just kind of around the same level on a bunch of heroes. Or you have someone who's kind of like this. Let me do that a bit lower. Or someone who's a bit lower. But they have this, right? This is more valuable. This is way more valuable. And also, I think the ability for an Alari to carry a game is way higher than the ability for a Brig to carry the game, right? There's like a value on the heroes you're good at as well, you know? Like in the same way, Hanbin's really good at D.Va, but how useful is that going to be, you know? Or Hanbin's really good at Zarya, but what's the fucking use of having the best Zarya in the world? Right? Has anyone got a use for having the best Zarya in the world? Unfortunately not, right? No, we're not talking about performance. We're talking about hero. This is a hero-based conversation, Andra. We're not talking about peaks in form. We're talking about hero-based peaks because that's what the original conversation was about. No, about the value of having a really high peak on main support compared to everyone else. Is there any VODs of TVNT Twisted? I don't believe so. No, I don't think they played any tournaments with that roster, so it's all behind closed doors. I'm not saying it's his fault, King Nix, right? I'm not saying he's got a bad loser. But how can I rate something I haven't seen? If nobody's seen it, we can't factor it into our rating, can we? What do I want to do with that? What do you want me to do with that with information that doesn't exist? Really hard to factor that into stuff, you know? No audio? Or are you just a client mapping, like? There is audio? Okay, that's a relief. Should we watch some Overwatch then? You just went silent for ages? Yeah, I was letting the takes come in, you know? Letting the people yap. I mean, all of these things considered as well, is I actually said, if anyone's here on my original streams, is I'm pretty sure the main support rankings are actually cooked. We just haven't changed them. I was only showing you that page for a demonstration of how I would use that sheet in Overwatch League. But to actually prove my point from earlier, everyone just immediately went to like, this player should kill themselves. Nah, this player's for GOAT. This player should kill them. This player's for GOAT, you know? Cannot be helped, I guess. Cannot be helped. Oh! Anyone actually want to watch some Overwatch? Nope. Okay. You want to watch some TF2? For Huck. I can't believe there's no TF2 at the Esports World Cup, Sion. Otherwise, we would 100% be watching that, you know? I was stacking Korean quick play earlier. Me, the boys, and Trenchcoat. Don't know if anyone saw us, but we were tearing it up. Tearing it up. You think there's a ground tank? Yeah, TVNT's better. I mean, I've said this about TVNT before. I don't know if he's still here, but I think my view of TVNT is very much is that he's actually got like a very high skill ceiling, especially on the heroes we've seen him on, like Sigma and Orisa, seen him on the most. But he's quite often been on very bad teams. Well, he kind of just always been on rock right this year. So it feels like he's a level of understanding behind a lot of the other tanks he plays. Is a lot of the things I feel about TVNT are the same things I feel about Chase, where a lot of the talent is there, but they just feel a bit inexperienced in terms of all the different matchups. But being maybe on a team like Twisted Minds is presumably a good way to solve some of those problems, right? Similarly for Chase on Ents, feels like a good way to solve some of those problems. Yeah, pretty similar to KSA, yeah. I'm actually, I know I said should we actually watch some Overwatch, but I am going to go to the toilet actually first. That's how long we've been yapping. Professional? Yeah. I'm back. We saying anything good? No? Yeah. I actually agree, yeah. Honestly, the first good take in a while. Alright, so I've got my wagon wheel. We can lock it. No, this is not on the newest patch, Storbs. This is back in Face It. The Face It playoffs, so the qualifiers for the Esports World Cup. So this was before the tank changes, and that made everyone lose their mind. Before the Malga nerf, so still a lot of Malga in this patch. Before Ganon got executed, yeah. What's the comp meta for the newest patch? I don't think I know yet. I don't think I know. I think there's a lot of different things being tried by a lot of different teams right now. What are your thoughts about the Greatest Showman potentially winning against Twisted Minds? I mean, it could happen. It's not out of the question. It's an upset for sure, right? You know? It's not impossible. I mean, we've seen, like... We've seen, if you remember this series, you know, I know there's a lot of I don't want to say the word peak, right, in case it triggers some people, but... but what's the opposite of a peak? Because what we've seen with Twisted Minds here is their trough is super low. You know? Like, this game was so bad. If Twisted Minds play anything like that, they lose to the Greatest Showman, you know? So, you know. But I don't think it's impossible at all. I think that the Twisted Minds, because obviously also the Twisted Minds we saw on this day was actually dramatically improved in the following days, right? Even this one they lost here, right? It was improved pretty quickly again. Who's in the Showman group? So it's LGD, Falcons, the Showman, and Twisted Minds. So yeah, like I think if there's most like this is probably the finishing order, right? And there's maybe a chance for a Greatest Showman, right? If something goes particularly badly for Twisted Minds or something like that, but you know. Crazy aura team vote. You never know, right? You never know. I'm sure they'll give it a fair crack, right? They'll give it a fair crack, but I don't know how far they'll actually get.
Sigma composition.
Team can beat LGD? I mean, it's a bit of a rematch, isn't it? Well, sort of. A bit of a rematch of the World Cup, isn't it? I don't think that's the group of death. I think Group D is... The Fnatic and SSG group is the group of death, I think. Anyway, I'm going to watch some Overwatch. Feel free to talk among yourselves. You guys don't have to stop.
Easy to predict when it
I just
comes
want to
down
watch.
to the they like to play.
I just want to watch. Watch some Overwatch. It's Let me turn this down. Actually, shut up, guys. It's Nightmare and what are they called? Virtus Pro in Group D.
Especially with Quartz, you know, on the Cassidy and speed up at the high noon. And the flashbang now, Rose. No longer the magnetic grenade.
All right. So
feels like a little bit of a
fuck, I just missed the first round. Bye, yeah,
not hinder grenade anymore.
I'm gonna see the same matchup. Looks that way, doesn't it?
They're just gonna see
Back here. Well, that first pick, Rose, unable to really. I mean, you have to be more direct with them now, of course, but that small buff. If you're accurate, cast him a little bit there.
You think they're going to take a map from Falcons? Fucking hell. You might be the biggest TGS head in the chat. You might be a bigger TGS head than a lot of the players on TGS. It's good though, you should have faith. Do you think the hero ban system is good? Yeah, I think it's fun. A lot of interesting stuff. Adds a lot of depth and a lot of if good one, guys. Fuck me. Faith jokes. Everyone had that faith joke loaded and ready to go. Like, as soon as I even said the word faith, 4 people pulled the trigger on the faith joke immediately. But yeah, I think the map pool is pretty dive favored. Pretty dive favored. But we'll see. Anyway. First fight. How does Kellen get one shot? Disaster. They should execute this guy.
Small buff. If you're accurate with her, which UB definitely will be.
Should be easy enough clean up now from Virtus Pro from this point. Just need to not split and go kill him. They're trying to hold for ground here, but surely Rajaro's just going to walk on him at a certain point. But Kellen is back. I feel like that was a missed opportunity there, right, from Virtus Pro. Like, no tank, and they're not able to run on and clean everyone else up. Feels a little bit passive. Now they come back in with a wall, and Rajaro's going to die for it as well. This also feels, I think, really bad for Virtus Pro, right? Like, Virtus Pro won the first fight, they one-shot Kellen, and yet, when they come for the retake here, Twisted Minds, Virtus Pro, like, their backline's here, Sigma's here, God, it just feels like we really haven't, really taken advantage of this.
Get a couple of kills for themselves.
Who picks first map / gets the first ban? I think it's just seed advantage would be my guess. That's not an official I know. That's just what I presume it would be. But whoever has the best seed. You said that Falcons versus LDG is a rematch of Team Korea? Kind of, I guess. It's more of a Spark Atlanta rematch, right? That probably feels like a little bit closer. Yeah, they do have a seed. They've seeded the groups. The groups are seeded. So I imagine they will just lean into that. Is map 1 predetermined? Oh, fuck. I don't know if anyone will still be awake, but I'll ask. Let's see. Well, guys are yapping. I'll get just a fact check. I don't know if anyone's still awake. Or are they using used for groups? We'll see if anyone's awake to respond to me, but maybe not. Chris said uncoachable? Yeah, I mean, you're more like, honestly, you're more likely to remember than me. I don't remember half the conversations I have. So if it is predetermined, if Chris said it on uncoachable, I'd believe him. So I don't know how the bans will work in that sense then. Maybe the bans will still work that way based on the seeding. Yeah, but is it closer than saying Saudi versus China rematch because Falcons have 3 players, but TM only has 2? Yeah, that is true. That is true, but it feels a little bit more like a spiritual rematch, right? Because it's still a Saudi core of players with TVNT. Why did TM get rid of Kellen though? I think Kellen was here the other day and he said it was mutual. Kellen wanted to go and they wanted to swap as well. So I think it was mutual from what I understand. From what the big K-Dog said himself. So they just hate each other. I mean, yeah. I mean, hate's a strong word, right? You can just go, this isn't that good. Let's get out of here. Oh, yeah, thanks, Arthur. And this is what I mean, like, like you're 100% right, Arthur. Kellen actually said this yesterday, and this is an important detail, right? Kellen just wanted to do one more tournament, whereas TM wanted like a long-term tank. So there was a bit of clash in what both the individual and the team wanted. So they parted ways. Parted ways. And as Braven correctly points out, they did all agree on the decision.
They're just gonna see some stuff. They'll have pretty firm control at this point. Well, I say that Assad's gonna
Alright. What am I missing? Fuck! Just immediately dead.
Going down, Virtus Pro, even a dairy for the to worry about. Although Cash recently, and with Sojourn's nerf.
So yeah, this is a really weird one. They're going to get the wall onto Rajaro. Peel, again, feels a little bit slow, right? Just a little bit slow.
For the Ash. However, Rajaro going down, Virtus Pro, even though they got that first
Sauna. Sauna causing havoc, though. Pretty fucking cool. Now it's just a dogfight. Shockers on the high ground.
Well, I say that Asana now eventually goes down, but there's been so much stall. Even Shockwave has been able to get a couple of members down before Twisted Minds.
I don't think the plan is for TVNT to be short term.
Take a look at the ultimate economy, though. I feel
is it? I thought they just signed him. Like they just had him.
Maybe even take this for a little bit longer. There are some changes that happen to Cassidy that I would consider to be quite strong nerfs.
Cassidy does get a lot quicker now the longer you hold the charge, but you lose the damage resistance.
Fuck, Sorta's at it again.
Yeah, that roll even got nerfed too. So Quartz, even if he got stuck, that little bit of extra damage would probably kill him from that pulse bomb anyway. So Quartz, even if he got stuck, that little bit of extra damage would probably kill him from that pulse bomb anyway.
Alright, Window in main for this retake. Window's going to be matched by Vigilante. Flux in play from Rajaro. Fuck, UB finds the dink.
Just pump out the damage now behind this window. Shockwave, Gala dead. There's a flux that's happening on the screen right now, and with Rajaro taking this high ground and killing Kellen, he just has to clear UB off the point, but May, of course...
Alright, if I give a flip, don't know where that May ult was going, really. But the Flux does its job. What time these matches played live? I don't know, it would have been evening, I guess? If you mean, like, what time of the day was this match we're watching played? I think it was, like, evening time, EMEA. How does the Cassidy range nerf affect Sparker? He's probably not even fucking noticed. Seeker Zero, Sauna, Shockwave. Yeah, I think that game's super tight for Virtus Pro. For Virtus Pro, Nightmare 1.
Able to actually get it off, and Rajaro turns that one around with a big flux on Kellen.
So kind of all they needed as well. Like
Sparker Ash is also great. Yep. Sparker actually good at most of the hit scans. Literally, if you need someone to click on something, Spark can do it. Spark can do it. Ash was like his original one trick when he was a 15-year-old kid on British Hurricane, so I don't think he'll be too upset if there's a lot of Ash to be played.
It's not the creator patches sound barrier, so a little less scary. It's not the creator patches sound barrier, so a little less.
All right, probably avoidable.
Just dies the high noon. Maybe not anticipating Quartz moving that.
Ends up being a super. It's so cheap, and they bob for it as well. I feel like in the previous ones, in the previous game we watched as well, it also felt like a lot of the bobs were bad. A classic BB, which stands for bad bob. Alright, Sauna misses a pulse bomb for once. Classic solo tracer play. Now they're going to beat in aggressively. Is it reasonable? Or wait, does Kellen... Who forces who to do a thing? Are they try and beat through window, then Kellen matches with Annihilation, so Gala has to try and get out of there. He might not get out of there. They Flux to deal with that, but it's not the greatest Flux. The rotation is good. I actually really like this, right? Yes, you can't really see what's happening. But obviously, Twisted Minds are on the point. They're going to try and push through. Then what the Virtus Pro backline is going to do is they're going to come in one of these doors and they're going to jump onto this high ground with their Bapash. It's like a really clever rotation to do mid-fight. So if you can find the space to do this rotation, it's massive. Is there a gap between Sparkers, Ash, and Cass? Nah, they're both really good. Both really good. Do Ents scrim themselves? I think Ents are mostly scrimming Nightmare and the new EXO team. That's what I hear, at least. Why is Gala on Lucio, not Alari? Because this is a really hard map to get, like, to play flank and angles on. Because of the main, you're sort of you're sort of stuck playing these chokes for the most part, right? These flanks aren't really that valuable. Well, they're valuable, but they're actually quite hard to get. So it's quite a tricky map to get Alari value on. Who do we think Nightmare are going to get on tank after the Esports World Cup? No idea, actually. No idea. I think they get Riker. Yeah, I don't know who the best option is, really. Oh, yeah, super. Good shout.
Pretty good. Sauna throwing out Pulse. Finds a bit of damage, but that's about it. Has to back up now. No recall. Sound barrier throwing out Pulse.
Yeah, Toronto are in Korea. Yeah.
Has to back up now. No recall. Sound barrier from Gala pushing his team all the way through that window.
So yeah, really good rotation here from Kaneo and Shockers. Flux is good. Oh, they join him up there as well. Lamp keeps him alive. They can just deep Ignis Annihilation now. They take over point. Whoa.
Do you think XA is to blame for the weak situation of TM? UB said he is the reason cause he left mid-season. I wanna hear your take into this cause. I think yes, he is to blame for losing OWCS, but he has nothing to do with the EWC.
Hold on, let me bring up that comment so I can read it again, because that was a long one. Where's my Streamlabs? I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. Streamlabs. Let's put it over here for a second. Do you think KSA is to blame for the weak situation of TM? I mean, KSA is like a really hard player to replace just because of how high his level is on all the heroes he's good at. So it's really hard to replace someone like KSA. And I think it's left him into... it's put him in a really weird situation where they lose a player who is like a fundamental part of all the comps they're good at, has played with the team for so long. And it's so hard to replace someone like that, right? It's really hard to replace someone like that. And I think what you can often find is when you try and take like someone who's such a like a rock solid part of a team out and replace him, they'll just keep replacing options, right? You know, like this option, this is what KSA used to do. This is what KSA. Oh fuck, KSA would have done this here or whatever it is, you know. So it feels like they're constantly trying to replace that. Yeah, that's a good point as well, Fork. The fact that KSA and Kellex, they both lose this. I think those two people are such fundamental parts of like what made Twisted Mind so good, both in terms of their in-game performance, but also also I guess like the culture and the team as well. The impression I get from a lot of the TM guys is Kellex was a pretty fundamental part in terms of like motivation and speech maker, maybe in some of the more difficult moments. So I think replacing these two players is really fucking hard for any team. And I think that's what's led to this problem, right? Whenever you change players, you're gonna go through like a dip in skill, and it feels like potentially Twisted Minds haven't handled that very well. I mean, ultimately, this is also kind of the situation you would probably want like a coach or something for to help try and manage that situation as best as possible. But Twisted Minds have kind of just been doing it on their own, right? Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, I think your second point as well about like now like this has now been enough time in theory to fix a lot of their problems, or to at least get somewhere in the direction of fixing Twisted Mind's problems. But obviously, as the nature of roster roulette, right? You know, we talked about like if this is like your improvement over time, you're playing with a team quite a lot, you keep going up, you lose a couple of key members, you take a big drop off, you sign some new players, you maybe start improving, you replace them, you sign them a little bit more, right? You're just in this kind of arc. And I think that's maybe some of a problem. That Twisted Minds are essentially they're used to being let me do it with yellow. They're used to being up here, but they keep finding themselves up here, and they are unhappy with like this level because they know what they were capable of before. And I think that can obviously snowball into tension, bad mentality, all these sorts of things, right? It makes it a little bit more tricky. And yeah, I mean, ultimately KSA especially, it's just a really hard player to replace in terms of talent too. Where can we watch Face It Season 2? It'll just be on various co-streams. They normally tweet it out. I think he's looking to. Jacked. I think KSA's looking to, if the right opportunity comes up. Yeah, EWC is the big tournament, I think, Lucas. I think 100% that's the one most teams are going to be focusing a lot of their effort on. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence everyone's gone to Korea.
Virtus Pro haven't got the speed boost really to run away from Kellen at this moment in time, but they've lost a big component in their comp. That EMEA going down just means Virtus Pro controlling that high ground, and now, I mean, Shockwave has just such a good position.
All right, in control. Trying to push forward. This is a Virtus Pro classic. They like to hold aggressively in almost any situation they can, like hold forward and move backwards. But sometimes it costs them, right? So we'll see if it costs them here. Need to be a little bit careful because we might be pushing into a Blizzard or a Bob or a Blizzard or a Beat rather.
This should just be the deal here for Virtus Pro on this first point.
Bob coming in as well for Shockwave in 10%. Crispy is in. Triggers
Boop doesn't really connect. Yumi's just in Kaneo. Kaneo dead before the fight again. What even happened?
Pro on this first point.
Bob coming in as well for Shockwave in 10%. Crispy is in. Triggers OT.
It's just fucking icicles, man. Just icicles. Alright, so we'll get the retake, won't they?
Couple of meters away, but 92% ability for Twisted Minds now.
Gritty.
Thanks, EMEA. Appreciate the 5 months. Gritty indeed. Alright, I didn't see that, but Sauna has actually traded Crispy.
We don't mind that at all. Shockwave, the nice little headshot onto the bat, misses the dynamite shot, however. Twisted Mind still with a sound barrier, a Blizzard, and a pulse bomb to their name against dynamite faster.
Get a Gritty IRL at V-Sword. Nope. So we see again Shockwave making this like mid-fight rotation. Very proactive in like the areas and angles he's taken. Not wasting any time while he's reloading. Gets himself into presumably a carry position if he can hit enough shots. But the beat at the window coming back. Still no ults for Virtus Pro. A really tricky fight. Rajaro tries to live. Cannot live. They trade one. Not really enough. Should have used Bob there. Oh, you mean when he was up top?
Bob coming in as we in just a moment. They're going to have to play for that one, although Yubi with a pick onto Canal is the Bob in trying to as a Hail Mary can use anything.
Wait, am I tripping? Where was the thing I just saw?
Yubi May time, but they've lost a Virtus Pro control, and that
final fight for be the deal here for
Triggers OT has got a beat in just a moment. They're going to have to play for that one, although Yubi with a pick onto Canal is a good start and a nice wall too.
I don't know. I think what he wants to do is when Kaneo dies immediately, you can see how they're trying to back up. He wants to just They want to just play live and recontest in the last 15%, right? That's what they're trying to do. But as they try and do that, fucking 2 more people die. Yeah, so I don't think he should have bobbed. I think it was reasonable to hold it. But it's like a, if you're gonna hold it, you know? Like, he decided to hold it for the next fight, and then chose to use it. So it ends up being the worst of both. Because if he had just stuck to his guns and held it, fuck, it's such a nice time to bob, right? Really fucking helpful to bob right now. Or even bob now. Or bob now and push this angle. Oh, it would look so juicy, actually, right? So juicy. Yeah. I mean, it's a similar story to what we saw in the Ents game, where some good things, some bad things. What's Yubi's hero pool? So I guess his best heroes, at least the ones that I've seen, are probably like Mei, Sim, Tracer. I don't know how much I've not really seen him on any of the other, what you would call like the classic flex DPS roles, like Genji or Ekka, all that much, right? So I don't really know about those, but like Mei, Sim, and Tracer all seem pretty reasonable. I think Mei and Sim probably really up there with his best.
Of the changes being effective, especially with
all right, similar matchup again.
And speed up at the high noon, and the flashbang now rose. No longer the magnetic grenade, although it does still have the hinder effect. It feels like a little bit of a buff more than enough.
He's the Saudi background. Well, I think he's got like, yeah, Yubi's got a really good Tracer, which is not one that often or goes in line with those things as often.
But that short range, like ability, I mean, yet to be seen, of course.
So again, the general idea, if you're Twisted Minds, is you just want to connect tanks. You can just play sort of front to back, run into the Sigma. If you're Virtus Pro, you want to keep rotating. You can see it's exactly what they do here. They've given them a full loop-de-loop.
I wonder if it's a better answer to something like the Tracer now, but obviously it's so new that we
get the early block out of Yubi. Now the Dynamite.
It does feel a little bit better into the Tracer, in all honesty, because of how quick it is. It's very obviously.
You lose Rajaro. How do they lose Rajaro here?
It does feel a little bit better
into that we can't really tell right away what its kind of impact is going to.
It does feel a little bit better into the Tracer, in all honesty, because of how quick it is. It's very
and they kind of do the right thing. Like, obviously they rotate, they get the high ground, and then they get like ice block out of Yubi, and then they start amping up the pressure, right? And they realize that Twisted Minds now don't really feel like they have the resources to push them if they drop. So instead, they choose to try and be aggressive, keep the pressure on. But they just don't support Rajaro properly on this, you know? Like, there's 2 different plays going on here. Like, there's Gala goes for this boop onto Yubi because he has no block, which makes a lot of sense. But Rajaro also hard commits onto the ram at the same time, you know? So these kind of these 2 different things. It's actually a really good lamp from Vigilante.
Well, speaking of slow, is a fight panning out to be one with 2 tanks dead. Now it's just the poke and damage, the DPS trying to find some picks. Although Yubi's walls are going to help Twisted Minds actually capture this point, or at least try to. Shockwave, unfortunately, missing a few hits.
So now, are they going to try and hold this high ground? They lose Kanail as well. Where do they lose Kanail?
Missing a few hip shots there. And with
I don't know what he's doing up there. Ends up being quite a straightforward one for Twisted Minds in the end.
For sure. That's just going to be Yubi's firepower, is the mechanical skill that he's always offered, whether it's been with something like the Symmetra. You know, he's so used to being able to throw out those projectiles from that hero, but then, yeah, the icicles just feel like it fits.
Aggressive window. Having a real hard time dealing with this Tracer. Just kidding, Vigilante smoked him. Honestly, maybe I'm on the Vigilante trending up trend. Disappointing game. Yeah, I agree, Miles. I think, one of some really nice things from Virtus Pro in terms of a lot of how they use the map. I feel like Virtus Pro's map understanding is really good, but then they just give themselves in a muddle in some situations. They give away a lot of soft deaths. Maybe just a solid example of that. They get caught by some... They have some dodgy ults. They get caught by a lot of the other enemy team's ults as well. They're going to bob for that. May ult in response. Ultimately, it's actually pretty heavy-handed from Twisted Minds here, so you don't hate this if you're Virtus Pro at all.
But they still have what feels like the ultimate disadvantage. Like, you got minds that use the annihilation in combo with the sound barrier is going to be really.
You think Virtus Pro will be the dark horses in the Esports World Cup? Maybe. Alright, so we're going to wall Rajaro at choke. This time, Rajaro was helped out. Sorna has recall force. Quartz forces him back, but they found Crispy in main within his window timing. Alright, they actually do give a retake here. Well played by Sorna. Like, just trading his cooldowns with Quartz, meaning Quartz is now busy shooting a Tracer, rather than doing all that much in main. Didn't see exactly how Crispy got caught, but you have to presume it was a mistake. Classic Lucio situation. Alright. Yeah, you know what I was saying about how Virtus Pro always just seemed fun in these situations where they just give like a free retake due to a random death or something? This is a perfect example of that. Is Smash for Kojo was abusing Lastro? Yes! But we're actually, if you want the official take, we're actually high on Smash. High on Smash right now. Because even though he was, I guess, the reputation was a dive coach, we have been reliably informed he was really good at coaching poke comps as well. And we were even given a bit of a history lesson now. He obviously did actually win some stages for Gladiators on that type of comp, and that Smash was a fundamental part of their understanding on that. So I think Smash a good signing for Virtus Pro. The problem with Virtus Pro is I think they do actually have pretty good map understanding. They just dumb shit, you know, just dumb shit. And losing to dumb shit is kind of good because it means all we have to do is not do the dumb shit anymore. But the problem is, if you're doing the dumb shit, it's maybe easier said than done. Easier said than done to stop doing the dumb shit.
Widow just to get the pick up. You go now if you're Twisted Minds.
Oh, yes, you do.
Kanail's gonna get the treatment. Fuck. Okay. Are we gonna Flux as well? Crispy beats. I don't think Crispy needs to beat. He really doesn't need to beat. Doesn't matter that much though, I guess.
That's round. That's map. Oh my god. It was over before we could blink, I feel like.
Compared to... Alright, where we going? Iconwold. Wait. Wait. Wait, have I gone past it? Does anyone know how time works? Alright, here we go. I imagine this will not be the play anymore with TVNT. Wait, hold on, I've got a message. Who was asking about bans earlier? I've got the confirmation. So, where am I going? Here. So, in the round robin... Oh, it's updated. Let's refresh. What's it saying? Some of the information is still incorrect. Fuck. So what will happen is... The maps for the first games in this round robin are all predetermined. But in terms of who gets to ban first, the higher seed will pick if they want to ban first or ban second. And that's how they'll determine it for the first map, and then it'll just be loser's pick from there on. At the Esports World Cup, Coleman. So at the tournament that's happening, is it a week today? Week today it starts in Riyadh. There'll be hero bans in play for, I guess, for the first time in quite a long time. The previous time they did hero bans, they actually did it just random hero bans. They let a cat pick one time, so it was all like full RNG and stuff. Whereas this time they're letting the coaches in the team, you know, choose the ban. So it's a bit more tactical rather than leaving their fate up to some kind of cat. I mean, it was but it's still random, right? It's still much more interesting to have the teams making the decisions and have it be a tactical decision rather than like any version of RNG, I feel. No disrespect to the cat, of course.
Thanks, Obs. Appreciate it. But it's all good. He's back in the fight. He's out of HP.
A load of cat stands in the chat right now. Has anyone in production team asked for advice? No, well, not to me at least. Is the cat smarter than Chris? I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
Look at him go. Look at
Kellen play it in their recent series.
All right, let's see it then. So, if you're Virtus Pro, all you need to do
But if it works, it works.
Look at him go.
is just bait out this ball a little bit. So you see, Rajara's going to take loads of space. Kellen's going to drop down. Kellen comes, hits 0 people in exchange for 400 HP. Nice. Get some pressure on. I mean, they've just applied 0 pressure so far. Twisted Minds. They've not found any kind of engage on any kind of rotation or when any space was taken right. So what Virtus Pro tried to do is they kind of stood here. They had their Sigma walk up early to try and clear some space, take an angle, right? So then your decision, if you are Kellen and you are imagine you are Kellen, you are Spider-Man atop the wall right now. Your decision is just to recognize is like, has anyone of the backline walked into a situation I think I can frag them? Or has the Sig maybe walked too far? Maybe I can try and boot the Sig in. Obviously booping the Sig in is a little bit trickier now, right? Because of the, what you would call it? The knockback. Thank you, Nix. Appreciate the 3 months. Welcome back, welcome back. For passive, thank you, Tova. Everyone agreed that killer should not play ball. And I mean, to be fair, Braven, they stopped him playing ball, did they not? Yeah, I still think Kellen's a good tank. I don't think, I mean, I'm not convinced by the ball, but I'm not convinced by the ball just because of the area and the situation in which we're playing the ball. You know? I think that's the bigger thing. I don't know why they wouldn't just play Winston with this version of the comp. But anyway, rolling and trolling, and actually Virtus Pro have taken quite a lot of space. Sauna's played this right. I didn't really see what Sauna did, but in general, if Sauna can just blink into Yubi's face and just waste all of his time, it's really perfect for him. Obviously, in this case, he's quite literally killed Yubi, which is pretty good. So they realise it's Icon first? They do not. This is why it's always important when playing Icon World, and you're playing first point. At a certain point, just say out loud, it's Icon World. We're in Germany. It's Icon World. And what does it mean if we're in Germany and it's Icon World? For fucking caps quicker, guys. God damn it.
I was expecting a touch there, so that's why I was yapping. No touch. So
Yeah, if you look over, see if I can get an angle for you.
someone does need to touch.
We can't get an angle.
But it heals your allies 10 more now.
but like just the other side of this forest before the mountain, that's where Haddie's house is. If you were wondering, that's where Haddie lives. You're glad I spent so long getting an angle for that. I think it was worth a payoff. Doxing not okay. Yeah, but it's fine, Fork. Because if you ever try and walk to Haddie's house, you'll get stuck by an invisible wall. So you can't get to Haddie's house to do anything creepy towards him.
We'll see what happens there if they get there. But yeah, the Winston just makes so much sense here. Not only is it Kellen's
All right, now the Winston swap.
place, but you just have the ability.
Kellen does the classic jump behind. Vigilante gonna go with him as well.
Oh, a swing and a miss there from Gala, unfortunately.
Where does this?
But you just have the ability
Where are we putting a Gala?
jumps way more effectively.
It's such like an aggressive way to do it for Gala. I feel like whenever you're on this type of comp, which is a ground-based comp, versus something like Dive, a way a lot of the ult exchanges will go is most of your ults are going to be quite reactive. It's quite hard to be proactive in a lot of these things because they have such high movement abilities and abilities to disengage or jump away or whatever it might be, you know? So I think in lots of ways, something like this from Gala is way worse rather than just... They just take the fight. Imagine if he was just here. They just break bubble and then he looks for it or something. Like they break bubble, they disengage the Kitsune rush as best they can, then they re-push with it, and they just try and chase out some kills with it. Because they do all survive, to be fair. Just kidding. Yeah, it didn't feel like because honestly, it didn't feel like the greatest Kitsune rush push at all from Twisted Minds. Yeah. They call that one a Cal ult? Why do they call it a Cal ult? Why is Cal copping strays for this one? Alright, then they're just kind of getting spawn camped, which is a problem.
I love forward holds here though as well, Rose. You burn so much time off the bank.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Especially after that first take was so fast, right? You had 4
He ulted into a wall on Route 66. You got the clip. I probably watched it live, but I have no memory of anything that happened to me. Which is quite good, because it means I get to experience stuff multiple times, you know? Which is always nice.
And it's 40 seconds.
But it is what it is. It is what it is. Alright, so again, they walk out, they disengage for Bob. Starts to feel a little bit better. Window's just a little bit slow here on Surajaro, right? He needs it, like, urgently. It's just a bit of a weird kite from Rajaro. Like, Rajaro's going to get bobbed and he's going to start going this way. But really, this is probably the best kite for him. Just into this room is probably okay as well when he's got, like, an angle to his backline. Instead, he just walks, like, the longest way possible, then tries to go this way and just gets caught by Quartz on the way out. Wait, hold on. 1 second. 1 second. All right, sorry, I'm back. I'm locking him. All right, then they try and play for trades, but they are not getting the trades.
It's Quartz, so they will.
What's Quartz up to? You almost... Yeah, sorry, I was just reading something. This was so tragic to watch live. Yeah, I remember it. They were just here, stuck here for ages. Now I'm gonna go Diva.
But yeah, the aggression has been absolutely wild. They still have ultimates to use here. Jack they're just gonna rip the
He's killed Quartz. Oh my god, they invested so much.
They've successfully got Quartz out of it. Yubi's going to get the trade. I mean, honestly, one of the things that actually looked really good, like, I think the highlight of Twisted Minds, in this iteration of Twisted Minds, was actually the Kellen Yubi partnership on these two heroes right here. I feel like that was consistently the best performing part of the roster. And the reason they looked best on this comp more often than not, you know? Now it's gone. Yeah, yeah. Not sure Winston is one of the heroes TVNT has in his back pocket, you know? How has Vigi been on TM? When Vigi arrived, so if I was to draw you a timeline of how I thought, I've had such fluctuating opinions of Vigilante. When we were in the Runaway, wait, let me do it. So, when we were in Runaway, my opinion shot up massively. I thought, actually, even though Runaway are shit, Vigi's doing really good. Vigi's doing really good. And then he went to Twisted Minds, and I was like, oh, maybe Vigi's not very good. But actually now I'm like, oh, actually Vigi's doing pretty well again. And then I've maybe sort of like plateaued around here, you know? So this was like Runaway. This was the start of TM. And this is like TM present day. So I actually think Vigi looks pretty okay, actually. I don't know if it like puts him in like any crazy it's not like a huge advantage they have anywhere, but I think it's like an okay backline they have, you know? Solid. Got the cow clip? Let's see it. Let's see it.
Almost goes down. The shot almost came through from Cal as well.
Oh, fuck's sake, Cal.
Face not on it to an enemy team.
Disaster. Does Rajaro not have a ram on him? I feel a lot of times Rab would have been really nice here, especially on the dive. Yeah, because if I swapped to Diva eventually, but I think you're right about the ram too. I think in general, versus this type of comp, playing Sigma is really hard, but the ram is actually quite reasonable. So, yeah, I think he does have a ram on him. Don't know why he's not swapped to it, but he goes to the Diva in the end. But I'm not sure. I think you're right, TDP up ultimately. Diva swap is okay, probably. But now they're just in like this kind of weird mirror. I think the ram probably would have been better. Then you can keep the BAP and the Cass. Do you think he'll be better or worse with a Korean support partner? I don't know, actually. Maybe.
Shockwave and Sauna, but this is where Virtus Pro can really try to push for an advantage. They have a minute and 30 left, so not a whole lot of time to work with considerably, but they've got 4 ults.
Charge just insta-dying. I believe that was a pulse bomb there on the mech. Oh dearie me, this is a brand new Twisted Minds I feel like we're looking at right now. Really clean with it.
And back to the spawn. Shit.
They were able to show this type of aggression, though, when they were playing in their last series. I feel like this is where we, even just last time...
You gonna see any scrims pre-esports World Cup? No, everyone is, it's full band down the hatches. Everything is locked in, locked up, and secretive. But one of the uncoachable guys says my full name correctly, I'm gonna get the $100 tier again. Safe to say I'll be keeping an eye on it. I feel like is it not just DDPIOP? Do you say all the letters? I feel like that's what you said before, if I remember right. Really straining my memory here. Do you think Anna Brigg Diva Dive will be played at the Esports World Cup? It depends on the team. All the letters, yes. You just saw me make $100 live. I look forward to the money, DD. DDPIOP. It depends on people's. There's like there's a few different ways, right? Because let's say your name is Gooshway, and somebody bans Winston against you, right? They say Winston, no good. Then if I'm Gooshway, I'm probably not going to go Diva, right? But I might just go Doomfist or something, you know? Whereas, who's a good example of someone who might go diva? I don't really know. Maybe it doesn't work that often with diva. TM, yeah. I mean, I guess if you're banning Winston against TM, you're probably hard throwing. Same with Ents, honestly, right? Let Vest play Winston if he wants to. Yeah, maybe it's not the greatest example, but my point is more like when you ban a hero, you have to sort of think about who you're banning it versus as well in terms of what they might go instead, you know? And do you want to force them into that hero, right? Like, this is why, like, because I think against Gushui, his Winston and his Doom are both really high level, right? So if you ban one, you can maybe push him onto the other. Whereas someone like Jumbin, who kind of has like a Winston plus a Doomfist plus a Ball, it's actually really awkward to force Jumbin onto a certain hero just because he's got so many variations available of it, you know? Yeah, Hattie's a good example. Hattie could go Ball. Hattie could go Winston. Not really seen too much of Hattie Doomfist, but it could go a little bit of that as well. So some tanks or some teams are easier to play with. Whereas, like, if you're playing against Vestler and you're playing against Gibraltar, and then you ban Diva, what the fuck does Vest do? It's Gibraltar, and you've banned Diva. What does Vestler do? I mean, ultimately this is what probably Mirror is for, right? This is what you sub in Mirror and play Winston, right? That's probably what you do. And then you lose anyway. But you see how, like, certain players will be harder to ban against than others, you know? And sometimes you'll just be playing for, like, slight comp advantages rather than, like, hard advantages. And I think this is why you maybe see some of the teams like Crazy Raccoons, Falcons, I think Zeta fall into this category, and probably Toronto as well. Whereas it's really hard to ban against these teams and get like a massive advantage, you know what I mean? Because they can kind of just play everything. Whereas there's certain teams where you can ban a hero and you're like, they've got no good options left to them now, you know? Yeah, Cluj could well go Diva or something, yeah. You still don't understand the ban system? So, both teams get a ban. Let me try and explain it in the... So, maps is fine, but heroes is confusing. Yeah, but there's just a lot to think. So, there's like... The actual system is not too hard to understand once you see it in practice a few times. Because the system is basically... Both teams get a ban. So let's say you're Team A and Team B. Both teams get to one ban per map, right? And the ban only applies to that map. So map 1, both teams get a ban. So Team A might go, I fucking hate Lucio. Get him out of my lobby. And then Team B gets to ban their hero. Team B can pick any hero as long as it's not the same role as the hero that's already been banned. So they can't ban a support, but they can ban any DPS or any tank they want. So let's say, they say, Winston. No, Winston. Okay, cool. Then, let's say Team A wins this map, right? They win this map. Then we go to map 2. And all the heroes are unlocked again. Everything is playable, except for the next 2 heroes that are going to be banned. You know, so Lucio and Winston are available again. So, Team A won the previous map. So, Team B is the loser, and they get to pick whether they want to ban first or whether they want to ban second. So, Team B says... we want to ban first, thank you. And this time, we're going to ban Anna. So then again, Team A find themselves in a situation where they can't ban a support, but they can ban another role. So maybe they say, we're going to ban Ramatra. Who... somebody today when we were asking bans and scrims, at this point when they wanted to ban Ramatra, said Ramaban, which... Probably the most witty thing I've heard so far today. And then we keep going through this. So loser gets map pick and first ban. They get to choose whether they ban first or second Gandul. So most teams, what you'll see is most teams probably will choose to ban first because it's more powerful. But there's probably some niche situations where you maybe want to let the other team ban first, just so you can maybe see what their see what type of comps they're trying to play. Average SSG versus Korea team bans. Something like that. See, there's lots of things to talk about with the bans, but I feel like I can't say it without leaking, you know? So it might have to wait until the actual event itself, you know, when there's a bit of space and time between everything. The bans only apply one map though, so you can't repeat bans. So if you banned Lucio, so let's say you ban Lucio on map 1, that's the only time you get to ban Lucio in the series. The other team could still choose to ban Lucio, but you can't choose to do it again. So this is why, even though you can say, well, isn't so-and-so a one-trick? You know, like, fucking Gooshway's in the lobby, just gonna ban Winston every time. Well, you can't. You can take Winston away on one key map. So you have to pick the best time to ban Winston. Can you ban another support after banning Lucio? You can. You can on, like, the next map, if you know what I mean. So you can only one hero from each role can be banned per map. So map 1, you can only be, you know, if there's like if we go tank, DPS, support, you can only have one of each, right? And then on map 2, it could be tank and DPS again, right? And there's nothing stopping that. And map 3, it could be tank and support. And there's nothing stopping that. It's only particular heroes you can't repeat. You're not special if you know it. It's already been leaked. What do you mean? Ban Winston on Ilios and Gooshway is hard nerfed. Yeah, I think we might see a lot of Winstons being taken out of the game on Ilios and Dorado might be the number one times people will not be allowed to play Winston. Doom quite good as well, but it's it depends what you want to play, right? But Doom can be a little bit easier to deal with in some circumstances. Hitscan players actually have a really good for them. Never going to be banned. Yeah, I think you're right, Atides. I think there's very few reasons to ban a particular Hitscan. Are there any heroes being played in scrims that you wouldn't expect to be? Yes, actually, yeah. Yeah. I'll avoid saying all of the names are redacted. But we played Redacted today, and I couldn't believe how much of Redacted hero they were playing. It was unbelievable how much this team, Redacted, were playing Redacted. It shocked me. It shocked me, but it was also pretty effective. So I guess that's ultimately the reason why they were playing it. Hero bans sound cheap. Oh, I think it's just a new addition to sort of tactical way to approach the game. Can you leak in mod chat? Not leaking to anyone. Have you watched some of the Korean scrims? Yeah. So for those who don't know, I asked SSG if I could sit in some of the scrims, and they said yes. So I've last 2 days I've been waking up bright and early at 6 a.m. to get my fix of Korea bootcamp scrims. So hopefully, because mainly I just want to understand the meta, and I want to understand how the bans look in practice, right, and how teams try and problem solve that. But as such, it's obviously quite a privilege, I think. So as such, I'm going to be very careful about what I do and don't say, you know? I'm going to try and use this knowledge to improve my understanding rather than to particularly just leak anything. Does it seem like, yeah, I think things I can say, so to answer Captain Ravager's question, yes, I've seen the Korean team's scrim. Don't Does it seem like the meta will be fun to watch? Yes, I think we're going to get huge... I think, one, we're going to get huge comp variety because of the hero bans. But I think also, based on what I've seen so far, there's huge comp variety anyway. And the hero bans are just like an additional twist on this. How is the SSG bootcamp going? Good. I think having a good time. We're enjoying the food. They're being looked after by, I forget the name of the place. Is it called Fearless something? Not Fearless for player, Fearless for venue or something like that. But I think they're being looked after quite well from what I understand. FearX. Thank you, Mapino. Yeah, FearX is the name of the place they're staying. Like the company that's hosting the bootcamp for them. Based on what you've seen so far, would you like hero bans and future events? Yeah, I think it's fun. Hunter's guaranteeing 0 Malga. Interesting. Are any Western teams beating Crazy Raccoon or Falcons? I can't say because everyone knows I've only watched the SSG scrims. It's a hard leak if I say anything, you know. A little bit too easy to put it in. Does the meta look like it's settled at all? No. No. Just say yes. You're so boring. Well, I have respects. Because what do you think's worth the trade, Lucas, you know? A little bit of dopamine from leaking to you lot now, or just getting to hang out with the guys and watch the scrims for the rest of the week, you know? Long-term over short-term satisfaction. We need the delusion? Yeah, well, if you need the delusion, then I'm happy to say SSG have won all their scrims, if you need the delusion. My chat is more important than my friends of 5 years.
But that's what it takes. They're really throwing Virtus Pro after their game, and they've only got a minute left. We said, wait a minute.
Clip it out of context. Have you tried to sit on Toronto scrims? I didn't ask, to be fair, because SSG, I asked Chris first, and they said yes. I'm sure Toronto would probably let me as well, right? I'm sure Cass and Danny wouldn't mind. Excited for that to be clipped out of context. Word on the street, SSG winning all their scrims. What about Ent scrims? No idea. Surely they're beating EXO though, right? Surely they're beating EXO. Could we actually? No, I'm afraid not, Lady Trash Panda. All the teams very much locked down on their scrim practice pre-esports World Cup because it's such an important event for everyone. All right, Casino Rush push is very early. Way too early from Twister's mind, so an easy enough exchange for Virtus Pro. All right, here, little dink. Could you save codes until after the event? You want to know who Peps is scrimming? No idea, actually. I presume everyone will give him a crack. Oh, surely they won't let him get back in bomb. Not allowed back in bomb. Think it'll be most teams? I don't know. I imagine most Korean teams will give like the Peps and the Virtus Pro kind of teams a shot. But I don't know how regularly they'll scrim them. I imagine they'll still prioritize scrimming like each other mostly, and then obviously like SSG and Toronto. Earlier you said you haven't seen lengths of play, so does that mean SSG is not scrimming LGD? No, I'm trying to intentionally separate what I see this week in scrims from my player rankings, because I really hesitant to give everything away, you know? Crazy Raccoon scrimmed NRG multiple times at Dallas. I'm sure Peps will pull up. Oh, maybe. True. Maybe true. It's a politician-ass answer. Keeping it vague, Lucas. Keeping it vague. Keeping it vague.
And there it is, the sound barrier, Twisted Minds. They're going to hold the bot, or hold the payload even, just on that bridge.
Alright, so not a very good attack at all, I think, from Virtus Pro. Really struggled to deal with the spawn camp. Waste a lot of ults. Oh, we're going to get a TM listening. So they've gone Reinhardt. Doesn't catch anything on first wall. Oh, they have to lamp to save Sorda. They've taken so much damage here, Virtus Pro. How's Rajaro taken so much damage? I think it's just for Quartz swing. Again, I feel a little bit like if I'm Virtus Pro, I'm a little bit upset at a swing this way, and I think Quartz is peeking from main here. I'm a little bit upset if I'm Virtus Pro now. I only have this portion of the map, essentially, you know what I mean? You can really like to me. It's probably Sauna's job, maybe. See if he can push this flank at all. I don't know. Alright, now they're going to try and push back. They do catch Quartz, to be fair. Lamp is late. It sort of works out. It sort of works out, actually.
No. Competition. Oh, they have. Actually, can you go around?
Twisted Minds thinking maybe going round, but yeah, I mean, well, I think they want Vigilante window and then fire strike, double fire strike through it. I think that might.
Oh, fuck. Now caught so many times. They need to swing back and trade Baps, though. It's actually a good counter swing. It's just a shame Canal got caught. Again, pretty proactive from Virtus Pro. I sort of like a lot of what they're seeing, but if they don't finish... Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of what I see from Virtus Pro. I think the idea is really good here. You know, like, Twisted Minds are obviously rotated into this. You know they're going to try and window here, maybe. And you try and rotate flip. Yeah, I think, to be fair, did I move him already? I think I said yesterday. Yeah. I'm a step ahead of you, Republican Gamer. Because I moved Canale down after watching their first game. So we're same page on this. Well, unfortunately for Canale, we're the same page on this. But yeah, not been impressed at all, unfortunately, with these Face It playoff games, especially on the rewatch. But like Canale getting caught loads. And as such, even though the decision and the play call from Virtus Pro really good, does not work out in reality because of just some goofy shit. All right, they're going really hard up these stairs, but I don't know if they can. Will be pushed all the way back. All the way back. Stabilize a little bit.
Now here comes the challenge. I mean, with Virtus Pro's comp, you can't really go for the spawn hold here. Not against the Rhine, there's just no way. Especially against May 2, the Blizzard is just too strong, so you're gonna have to hold big off angles. And Virtus Pro are gonna be able to do that with ease and shockwave through.
Alright, coming back in. Window.
All that they really require. Shadow reliable from Callum.
We're gonna Molten Core first. High Noon coming through again. And Prajaro, turns out he didn't need it. Molten Core is good. What did they beat for?
Being popped by Quad standing in the burning lava. His shoes are burnt.
What did they beat?
He took too much damage from the Molten Core. And that will be Virtus Pro pushing them all the way back. Oh, even into the spawn.
Yeah, but look at how many ultimates they had to expend to do that. Virtus Pro used 3. The sound barrier being one of the most valuable in that entire fight.
Okay.
Rajaro still has the annihilation,
Yeah.
but that's where
I think you're unfortunately right, Fix. No good.
Rajaro can't necessarily push up into you. So
Alright. Now Virtus Pro are going to try and do a spawn camp.
I feel like this isn't going to work out for Virtus Pro. Especially not when you're going to wrap around like this and just take
This is the flip. Oh. Oh. That's about as big as you could ask for.
Under the payload. Nice shot. It hits the ram. Easy kill for Kellen. That window. Virtus Pro thought they had all the tools in the world to deal with this rotation.
All right, if they at least get 2 out at least. So this might actually take high ground. So in theory, they should be able to control this from here. Mayo on the point on Rajar.
Another hero that Sana is so comfortable with, and so I can't wait to see what he can do to the Mei.
Don't see exactly where Rajara goes.
Sana is so comfortable on the walls, which is
Does he just drop right off the bridge here?
himself. Another
He's gone round the wall just to get it.
hero that Sana is so comfortable with, and so I can't wait to see what he can do.
This UB Blitz is just devastating. Wow, Rajara got set up there by Sauna of all people.
Oh.
Friendly assist.
Beats are only being used in this game to celebrate a fight victory. None of them are actually using it to do anything. Fuck.
Fantastic for them so far. Is their chance to move all the way down the lower bracket, maybe get some revenge.
14-1 because they played dive. Looks like they literally won no matter what they did. I mean, they did play dive on the defense and stuff as well, right? Dive on the defense and a bit of dive on the first map as well. And then this one, they sure did.
Winston from Kellen, you're closing the distance so fast on this Virtus Pro setup that takes time to get this poke damage down.
Okay, Gala, my goat again, running out with Alari.
Alright, Soldier from Quartz. Interesting.
That is a very long range right click from
Just gonna hit the dive. Gonna catch it.
Soldier of all things. Gala getting instantly run down, no pylon, very little healing now as Canel has also fallen.
And the pushback's relatively good.
Run down, right click from court. Jumping over to Soldier of all things. Gala getting instantly run down, no pylon, very little healing now as Canel has also fallen.
Yeah, I mean this comp is just really squishy, I think. With the Alarian, with the Sigma. I think Ram Lucio is probably a better version of this. Maybe with Cass too. I think I'd Cass as well with this. Yeah, kind of like these swaps. Kind of like these swaps.
Quite weak at this level, especially of how quick you can get descended upon.
The mobility from the Lucio is just so important on map types like this, because especially if
Right, Rajaro's stopping up the corner. Again, the nature of this a lot of the time is you want to be proactive if you're Virtus Pro. So you want to be peeking a lot. You want to be trying to find opportunities to force Kellen or UB out in particular. You want to be really aware of it's kind of soldier specific, maybe New Queen Street specific. You want to be really conscious is, can we see Quartz or is he going to be doing some wacky flanking that we need to be aware of? Needs to be the things under consideration. But in general, for Virtus Pro, you're still going to have to be quite reactive, right? Like, if they dive, you have to be ready to take a step backwards. You have to be ready to peel. All of these sort of things.
you just can't let yourself be vulnerable to not having that speed. But Rajar's
All right. This is... I feel like this is really nothing slow here. Like, I feel like if I'm Rajaro now, what I want is, like, I want to try and catch Kellen's exit jump, you know? Obviously, if you're going to break bubble first, he's going to get out pretty quickly. But if he does this, right? Okay, fair enough. So Kellen just leaves pretty quickly. I think it depends a little bit, DD. Like, if everyone can chunk him, if everyone can, even if he's in bubble, if everyone can, like, because the ideal is here, if we're going to slow him, everyone gets to shoot him, right? But generally, obviously, if he still has bubble up, it's not going to be super high value if he's slowed now, right? But it's if he just did it like half a second sooner, it's really scary for Kellen. But if you do this and Kellen gets out, I think what you do is you just save your slow. At this point now, you just save your slow, and you either use it to help you take space, or you threaten maybe someone who's trying to flank or peek here or whatever, you know? Because this slow is kind of just like just slowing because we've got a button we can press, you know?
Yeah, a lot of space control with the ram. That vortex can be quite annoying for a lot of characters. On Twisted Mind's rock.
Because now what would be great actually there, if Shockwave's like, yo, I can swing this Winston, you could have slowed him just round the corner. Then you catch Kellen. Then, oh my god, is Kellen's escape really fucking hard, you know?
Why did Ramantra not get a lifeguard skin, huh? What's up with that?
They're still bullying everyone back. They're still like, you know, it could be better, it could be cleaner, but they're still dealing with most of it. Dive comes in now.
Good stick.
Pulse onto Rajaro. Should have form again soon, right? There it is.
This form, and not a lot of health to really play with.
Oh!
That's crazy. Maybe next year.
Where's the backline here? If I'm looking for a Virtus Pro backline.
Mine's rock. What's up with that? What's up with that?
I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
Yeah, so the backline's here, right? I just saw back peel from this, right? I think Rajaro just needs to be quicker. Surely he can just get out at some point, right?
Next year. Good stick. UB unfortunately had to deal with the land there as well, but Nemesis form and not a lot of health to really play with. That armor fading away pretty rapidly. Now you can see the little healing grenades being fired through that small window, but couldn't quite keep him up, sadly. DPS passive.
Yeah, because everyone else takes the back step, but now they don't have a tank, they just have to play it slow. Is D.Va as strong as the people in your Discord server keep saying? She's definitely more viable than she was. I don't know how viable that really means, but she's definitely more viable than she was.
I also have the opportunity to just run rings around Virtus Pro. Makes it a little bit easier to get away from something.
Right, so really similar situation for Virtus Pro again. Dive's going to come in. Kitsune rush dive as well. Can they just get everyone off it? They're going to bob and try and walk away. Seems reasonable enough. They're going to beat the Primal. That doesn't seem unreasonable either. Can they flip this as well? They've lost control of the high ground, which is a bit of a problem. Survived for Visor. Flip is actually quite good. Again, we see like a smart rotation from the... Like, a lot of the movement around the map I actually really like from Virtus Pro, you know? Getting from like here into here or something as the dive comes in, I think really smart.
Window 2, Quartz doesn't really want to mess with Shockwave. 43 meters to 27. It is Virtus Pro semi in control of this bot. But with this sound barrier, surely Twisted Minds just run over them now. You can
The other sound barrier comes in. Ooh. The sound barrier comes in. My voice creaks.
with this sound barrier, surely Twisted Minds just run over them now. You can see them diving into the back of this bot.
Yeah, I can't see exactly where the backline start. Yeah, it feels like they're really unsure. Maybe you actually want to fucking just rotate back to cart. Like, you flip the map here if you're Virtus Pro, but maybe you need to, like, flip the map again if they start chasing you through here. Canale kind of just walks into, like, no man's land, you know?
And there it is. The very vulnerable Ash, even with the help of the Baptiste, is only got that coach gun to really use to get out of there, and that'll be a pulse.
So many ults. Oh my.
Alright, they'll clean it up. Monkey Crane and D.Va still? I don't know, they're both, like, viable in different situations.
Holy, how many ultimates got thrown out there, and now there's nothing for this Rajaro annihilation. So if Virtus Pro can take this fight pretty quickly, or at least maybe even take the backline, I feel like this should be a fight win for them. But as I say that,
So no ults now for Twisted Minds.
convert over these ults to value.
So should be in control for Virtus Pro, just need to be aware of all the threats. Rajaro takes a lot of damage again. They do manage to clear out Kellen. Need to keep going now. Again, it's like, oh, I pressed the wrong button. Fuck you. What was I on, like 6 minutes something? Maybe just before this. Yeah, just before this. Yeah, so again, maybe slow could be higher value from Rajaro. And now they've lost Kellen. Oh, fuck. These are the fights that absolutely they kill you on push, but they also kill you just fucking everywhere. Like these kind of fights where they have nothing, you're in complete control. You've even just cleared them, you know. You've just cleared them. Then somehow Kellen's able to jump, doesn't even have bubble, catches Canale behind, and this has to be an illegal maneuver. A lot of the fights you have a really hard time with if you're Virtus Pro's comp. Like a lot of the support ult timings can be really tricky to deal with. But my god, if you lose just to the neutral, that's where you're gonna have a really hard time. So checkpoint now for Twisted Minds.
Which would have really helped out this annihilation. So Rajaro hasn't even had a chance to use.
Are they trying to flip map again? It's hard to tell exactly what's going on, right? Because we kind of just see like, well, Canale's died immediately, so this is a problem. But I don't know exactly what's happened, you know? They tried to flip the map. Canale did not make it. Trades are still kind of okay, given the situation, but they did use Annihilation in it as well. It's probably still a net positive. Radara's going to go Hog now. Unfortunately, like, the problem Virtus Pro are having, I think, is actually more backline related right now in terms of ability to live. I don't know if a Hog really saves that for him, or changes that all that much. They're going to disengage the Visor, at least initially. Is a Bob trade? How's Crispy even died to this? I have no idea when this Bob is.
Bob's out and about. Killing Lucio's where he can. Oh, killing soldiers too by the looks of it. Alright, Bob with 2 kills.
Alright, they've dealt with the Winston behind. Alright.
Bob is doing more than the
Right, okay.
Okay, just Pulse Bomb now. Beats soon for Twisted Mind, so should feel pretty winnable. Gonna help force for point now.
Still looking for that first hook.
They're gonna dive behind. It's the same one Twisted Minds did before, where they're just gonna push through the gym, flip a map on them.
Ooh, he went for the wild one. And he missed it.
Virtus Pro anticipates it a lot better in this time. They're able to get their backline through already and swing on this bottom side.
Too far away for Virtus Pro right now. Will be a re-engage from Twisted Minds.
This is a good thing.
Go away for free. There it is. Kellen's in.
Pulse Bomb now onto Kellen.
Receives a super.
Hook it as well.
Unfortunately, Vigilante
Now it's starting to look good.
was not looking at Rajaro. Hook, line, sinker, Vigilante gone. Checkpoint.
Like, I don't know. Does the Hog make any difference there?
They are not too far away from the
Or is it? It's really just because they rotated earlier, right?
Pro to work with. They also have this sound barrier.
I feel like that's more it than anything else.
Deal with the sound barrier as well as the Kitsune
He did hit.
Rush.
He did hit a hook at a kill mode, didn't he?
Bob again.
All right, holding on to the high ground. Double support out now for Twisted Mind. So probably want to get a cheeky disengage.
Next fight.
Kitsune Rush out of the window. Canals the Tiger once again. Pops the lap.
Again, the kite feels just a little bit awkward. You know, like Canale right now is just so far from any form of cover or anything. You know.
Canals
Can supports focus on each other healing one of attack? I don't know. Ramp doesn't need loads of healing, really. I mean, I guess in theory, yes, it's easier for him, but should be possible. Should be possible either way.
the Tiger once again. Pops the lap and the sound barrier coming out from Gala is going to make sure he stays alive. That Rush is and the sound barrier coming out from Gala is going to.
They drop both support ults here so quickly, right?
Pretty even here for this next fight.
We can soon rush to push. Defensive beat comes out. They're going to beat to keep going. Can they keep going? They kind of can't, though. Now just for neutral dive afterwards. Kellen's about to have Primal. Ooh. Hey Mask, when's the Overwatch portion? It starts on the 24th, so a week from now. I think it's next Wednesday? Wednesday, I want to say. So they survive everything. And then Shockwave just, he takes like impact damage, he takes everything, and Yubi's just able to find the kill. But Rajaro and Sauna are just going to kill everything. Shit. Yeah, I will be Mask. I'm gonna be on site co-streaming it all. So hopefully be able to catch up with a lot of the players and stuff as well.
Wait, that's so funny though, because we ended up actually seeing Quartz get a chance to push that bot over the mid.
You think this downtime is bad for teams? I think all the teams have been scrimming pretty actively. So I don't think there's been any downtime for any of the teams really. At least any of the teams who have qualified for the Esports World Cup.
Twisted Minds, the forward spawns for some of their players. Huge. They get to get back into this fight so fast.
They do indeed, and that might allow them here to not give up that checkpoint or that
Forward spawns for some of their players.
Where are they playing?
Hey, that's so funny though, because we ended up actually seeing Quartz get a chance to push that bot over the midpoint, which gave Twisted Minds the forward spawn.
Where are they holding? We're gonna go back into gym. Primal comes out, but Shockwave is not in gym. desperately trying to peel him. Kellen's separated him. Rajaro died. This is what I mean by, like... Is there not a way... Like, Rajaro knows we're getting primal. Is there not a way for him to live? We don't really see what happens, right? But it's like it's the question I'd be asking of, like... Surely there's, like, a way we can avoid dying a little bit here. Also, the peel was really scuffed and really tricky just because Kaneo and Shockwave start in, like, 2 disconnected positions when there's a wall in between them. So they have to sort of, like... They have to speed round Kaneo and Gala to get into a position to save Shockwave. So yeah, just really up and down from Virtus Pro. Some things that look quite nice. Some things that don't look nice at all. So what you're hearing is co-stream for... Well, I'm co-streaming for SSG. So SSG rate me higher than the establishment does. What's even happening? Are they going to window into this dive? We just get smashed. I mean, it's quite nicely set up by Twisted Minds, right? Between like a rock and a hard place with that visor. But yeah.
That's 3 kills. There's a boot kill on the Lucio off of the map. And nice little headshot and a melee kill. You take those, and you take that bot bag.
Oh my goodness.
If you know you're gonna die, yeah, but you shouldn't. If your backline's getting, if you know the backline's gonna get pushed because of the ults Twisted Minds have, you shouldn't be in a position where you can die. In this matchup, who am I rooting for? Do you mean like what's on screen right now, or do you mean the Esports World Cup? On screen, I guess there's always like there's always a bit of me that fundamentally has played the Virtus Pro side of a matchup where you were a ground-based team playing against Dive more often. So maybe I have some initial bias towards that type of comp. But yeah, as long as good Overwatch. We kind of seen kind of mid Overwatch so far. I think Twisted Minds have looked reasonably good. I think their setups have been good. Quartz, UB, and Kellen all combining reasonably well at various times here. They clearly have a few like nice set plays on certain parts of a map that have caused them some problems.
At this point, too, with 30 seconds left, it's hard not to see a world where Twisted Minds just take this.
All right, 30 seconds to redeem themselves. I mean, they're still kind of in it, right? It's like 2 fights, maybe 3 fights. If you're Virtus Pro.
This Bob might help, but I feel like there's so many hiding places here where you're gonna throw this Bob that Twisted Minds can just run from it real quick.
All right, UB forced out. Bob now. Can I just start the fight? Quartz is 1 HP. Vigilante and Quartz are stuck behind. Can they just C9 him? Yeah, they're just leaving him. Alright, Kellen doesn't find anything on the dive, and Rajaro's found a pick. Kellen wants to win it. Beat will come out against the Primal. Later beat now from Crispy. Can they find anything? Where's Kaneo going? This is another one where, like, I like, there are certain parts of the map, like, you know on Oasis Gardens where there's that T-shaped bit, and there's the 2 chokes here, and we see VPR retaken from this side, and we see mid-fight they're able to get their backline through, and their backline and their Ashbap onto here, and I look at it and go like, these guys are real fucking smart. These guys really know how to move their backline in a sensible way and really exploit where the space in the map is. But then there's ones like this where I just feel like sometimes mid-fight, it's just, like, it's not like a certain part of a map where you have a cool set play. I'm just I look at Kaneo's position right now and I think, where the fuck do you actually want to be, man? It can't be here. Maybe here. Maybe the staircase in the next, you know, just off screen. But, yeah. Not great. You always bet against Sauna and wipe your tears away with 100s. Fuck, poor Sauna. Catching strays. So now they've killed Kaneo. Rajaro has got that payload moving. Yubi will slow him down though.
but with no ability to keep
Is there anyone with him?
Whole breather used, and now
No help.
for the
No help for Rajaro.
That'll be
Fuck.
Twisted Mind.
Is the least Korean primal you've seen from a Korean player. It was not some of Kellen's best work, was it, unfortunately? But alright. Alright. Lots of problems. Lots of problems. I shouldn't have closed that tab, actually. I'm just going to go to the toilet. But yeah, lots of problems. Alright, so what did we learn? What did we learn? I think we learned... I guess we should start with what I thought beforehand. So what I thought beforehand was a lot of Virtus Pro's problems. Virtus Pro's problems. Virtus problems. There's a joke in there somewhere, maybe. We're actually just comp matchup based, right? In terms of the dive was a really big problem for them. Dive versus just anything VP played, right? But the more of that I watched, the more I started to feel like, well, actually, there's just it's just problems, just problems with all versions of the matchup. Silly mistakes, dumb deaths, poor ults, all these sort of things. Now, I mean, it's one of those things. It's the sort of thing you watch back as a team and you just think, it's just silly mistakes, easy fixes, right? But players will know this as a mistake. Even as it happens, right? You don't need to like reiterate to them that much. You're not really reinventing the wheel to tell them this is bad and what they should have done instead. They'll know it. But the problem is, if the players are just making those mistakes, it might just not be as good as some of their counterparts, you know? And that's kind of just the situation, right? And that's hardest to fix, right? That's hardest to fix. And that'll be the difference between some of the good players and the great players isn't necessarily more shots a hit, but it's just those things don't happen, right? Like Lucio is the classic example. We just say the best Lucios just don't make fucking mistakes. You know what I'm actually thinking after this? Not to reopen the main support one, because we discussed it a while ago and I was like, I wasn't really happy with like this and above. I think I'm pretty happy with. Yeah, kind of exactly your question. Like when I look at like this and above and this bit and below, I kind of look at it and go, yeah, that seems about right. But I don't know if there is even a tier break here, or if I don't know if in reality maybe the tier break is a little bit more like no one. Fuck, I've broken it. How do I do, like, just a tier break? How do I do this? I'm going to need to change. Wait, if I do... I'm going to have to do some technical stuff. No one. No one. Let me capitalize it. You think that's fair? And there's that much of a gap between top of the list and bottom of the list? Any mains? I know you. Because the way I feel about main support is this is like the liability line, and below this, all of these Lucios have a lot of like mistakes in them. you know, in terms of just getting caught or the beat doesn't work out or whatever it might be, right? And then once we go above the line, we enter the like elite tier who don't really make mistakes. To be fair, I think Violet is still in like the makes a lot of mistakes tier, but I think he also makes a lot of really good plays, and he also has like, it's fair to say Violet has the best flexibility in this, right? Yeah, exactly. I agree, Republican Gamer. I think Violet is still a liability on Lucio, but he has such a high skill on all the others. Like, I think he's got one of the best brigs here. I think obviously on all the flex supports, like anything like Ilari or Zen. I guess we don't really play that much Zen. Or if he ever plays Anna or Bap or something, right? He's got a super high level certainly compared to any of the other main supports, you know? So I think that's reasonable. Violet Mercy will go hard. Yeah, I think that's a great... Yeah, Violet's a great one to have. Because, you know, we were talking about, like, tank bans, right? If you want to ban versus Funny Astro, there's, like, an obvious thing to try and target Lucio, right? Can really target Lucio. And I think, again, if you say certain players on this, it's like Admiral, FD God sit in this category, right? Where you're pretty happy. If you ban Lucio versus them, you're pretty confident you can push them into like a pretty uncomfortable situation, you know? But Ilari's and Anna, yeah, but he's going to be playing them. Because you got to remember, especially more so than in any other tournament we've seen recently, playing non-Lucio heroes is going to be relevant. And I think the only people who have consistently put like non-Lucio performances in, I think Astro's always looks solid, even though it's been a hot second. Obviously, Chio and Chirong fall into this category. Violet probably actually one of the best once we take Lucio out of the equation. I always thought Lee Jae Gong's brig was really good, but I guess we did see it last year on Boston, right? We've maybe not seen it that much this year on these misadventures on Runaway. You think Vega and Lee Jae Gong? Yeah, I mean, one of the things I do think is that like it feels a little bit weird to have such a big blob, you know what I mean? Of just, they're all right, you know? It feels a little bit weird, but I also don't know if there's anything that really massively separates them. I think people who are most likely to move up, maybe Lee Jae Gong, maybe Vega. Maybe Gala based off Ilari Impact, maybe Lengtser off like very good brig, but yeah. The Lee Jae Gong Zen brig backline's unstoppable. This is what I mean. I actually think like Lee Jae Gong has one of the best brigs. Just haven't seen it in ages, you know? You really gonna say that Vega clears Bliss, of course? Not they are the same tier? What do you mean, Fix? They're literally in the same tier. Literally in the same tier right in front of your eyes. So it feels a little, I don't know, it does feel cumbersome to me to have so many people in 4. Oh, okay. But I also can't really feel like a good way to rank them, you know, like, or a good way to separate them out, you know? Because I think Lee Jae Gong obviously has had the highest peak out of any of these players, right? But also Lee Jae Gong form-wise, pretty bad. Pretty bad, you know? Vega, I think, has the flexibility, but hasn't really made, I think, a big, meaningful impact so far on Toronto. And definitely has moments where he sits in the liability category, like a lot of the other Lucios in this tier, right? I think Gala Lucio definitely has that liability factor, but he does have the plus of like that really high Ilari peak, right? Length's like in a different roundabout situation where Length's brig looks really good, but we've not seen a whole lot of high level of anything else from Length's, so it kind of just feels like he sits in this mid category. Admiral, again, like, Admiral and FD God are probably in quite a similar situation where they've actually looked quite good on Lucio. I actually think, as much as FD God gets a lot of hate, I think FD God this year has looked like one of the better Lucios. Like, if you were to ask me to rank Lucios in EMEA, it's probably Funny Astro, then maybe like Massa and FD God. Massa, then FD God, like FD God third. I think that's how I do it. Rack, I think, in a similar situation, has a pretty good season. I think Rack's had a pretty good season, but we've only seen so much, right? Bliss, I think, has actually had a very disappointing year. Really not been impressed by Bliss at all on what are they called? What were they called at the time? Yeti, they were called at the time. And obviously you have to bear in mind, clearly clearly Fnatic felt the same way, right? And they like perma-benched him. Liar, I think Liar's actually been fine. I think Liar is in a similar situation to FD God, where he still has moments, right? But I think he actually has put in pretty reasonably good performances, at least on Brig on Lucio, right? So I feel like at least in form, Admiral's probably actually been in decent form as well, right? There's a few of these players who have been in pretty decent form, you know? But I don't know if they've really, the form is really enough to match them, you know? Or to move them up a tier, I should say. I think Astro does have flexibility, you know? Because I think, remember, you only really need 2 heroes. You only really need 2 heroes to work around the bans. It's obviously, like, it's still a bonus if you are someone like Violet, right, and you can play all the fucking heroes. But you only need 2 heroes to play around the bans. And I think Astro's got that. I think his Brig is fine. Not worried about his Brig. Yeah, I don't know why I get so much hate. I mean, obviously, like, his Lucio is on, like, another level compared to his Brig, but Brig has really felt fine. I would admit he's not played loads of it recently, right? But yeah. What is SSG going to do with a meta as Bab Lucio? I can't tell you. Can't tell you. It's like a loaded question that I can't answer because I know some of the answer. Yeah, I mean, double flex support is something teams could do. They could do the bone back style swap, right? You're so annoying. Well, what would you rather me do, Lucas? Betray my friend's trust? Are they going to do the Korean bat brig? Who knows? I mean, that's the situation. Like, I'm not going to leak scrim results. I'm sure if you go and ask any player who's streaming as well, they'll tell you the exact same thing, right? Like, who's been streaming a lot recently? Like, Naga, probably TVNT or Seeker a bit, right? I'm sure they're not going to tell you what they've been scrimming. It's the nature of it. It's the biggest tournament of the year. Of course people are going to be secretive. We can only discuss what's public, you know? Only discuss what's public. How many subs? No amount of subs. No amount of subs. My loyalty is too strong. The viewership of the Esports World Cup? Yeah, but I'm not talking about viewership. From the team's point of view, it's about the money, no? Gonna make way more at this event than they are in the respective OWCS events. Which, in turn, makes it the event that the teams are going to be treating most seriously. You'd sell out for $100 million. Yeah, go on X Game. If you give us 100 mil, I'll sell out. You got me. Everyone has their price, right? Everyone has their price. All right, what time are we on? What do we got? Maybe like an hour left before I need to go make dinner? Wait, hold on. Just checking something. Okay. Whoa. What am I having? I think I'm having curry tonight. Curry tonight for dinner. So do you want to watch some of the Peps games while we wait? Where do you want to start? In the... There's like, there's the Dizzy and Heights, the Massive Lows, and then somewhere in between. Just made salmon and rice? Healthy. You got back from holiday, so I need to diet? Yeah, I'm trying to... Let's see if there's somewhere in between. It seems the most reasonable place to start. Do I need this? What was this? What day would this have been? Day 5? Day 5, I think. Can we watch Shanghai versus Shock 2022? I mean, you want to see it again? Or you can watch both. We'll probably only watch one more today, right? We might not even finish this one, to be fair. Might need to be a tour. Can we watch LA Valiant versus Philadelphia Fusion? What even lineups were those at the time? Whoa. What's happened? Everything just refreshed. Can we watch London versus Rain? Oh, I've gone too far on this one, I think. I mean 100% I've gone too far.
Wow, what's amazing is that Ghost, usually a Baptiste player, is actually...
Regis one. Crazy C9 it was. Rose, don't worry, we're not getting any...
You want to watch Goats? Not watching Goats.
Now that you say that...
I don't know.
Not watching the Stage 1 Grand Finals. I feel like that kind of content is like off-season content, you know? Like a trip down memory lane. I kind of had an idea of doing like a... I know like Richard Lewis has done one where he calls it like time travel land or something. And you basically you just do like it's like a co-stream, but just for an event that happened X number of years ago, you know? So maybe in the off season we can do, would you guys be down? Maybe any interest for like a co-stream of like the season 1 grand finals or something, you know? Or the season 1, even like season 1 playoffs. Or whatever season, right? Maybe it just makes sense to do them in order. Maybe that seems the most reasonable. DJ Khaled. Surely we would skip DJ Khaled. Surely that is one of the advantage. Like, if we're going to call it, like, time travel land, or we're going to travel back in time, surely we use the power of time travel to skip the DJ Khaled bit. Recast this? What am I looking at? Oh. PI 55 Grand Finals? No. I can't do that. For those who haven't seen, if those who didn't know, I actually used to play TF2, but we will not be recasting the Grand Finals. I was only on the desk here. You might recognize the other guy in the middle. Again, feels like off-season content, you know? How about this instead? What's this? The Excel World Championships? I don't think I know enough about Excel. I think I'd be... The technical breakdown wouldn't be any good, you know?
Vegas.
Are these just for highlights?
To spreadsheeting.
Gonna get, well, our contestants. Come on down.
Why is he running?
Andrew, you are going to be in seat number 1. Contestant number 2, Peter Charel. Come on down, Peter.
They're all running. What's he doing?
And you're gonna be at number 2.
These all unprompted.
Adam, the human backpack Carter.
Why does he call himself the human backpack?
All right, number 4. The ultimate
They've all given themselves like WWE names.
Barnikowski.
At least, and that's time for that. Just nice, simple little wave.
Patman Fever Chatain. The place of my birth, Montreal, Canada. Big hand for more of our Canadian fans. Sitting in.
Oh, there's a massive belt to win as well. This is for WWE.
Michael Jarman Army. Michael Jarman.
What was his name?
Michael Jarman Army. Michael Jarman, come on down.
The Jarman Army. Fuck me.
The Beer Hunter Landry.
The Beer Hunter. Does this guy look like he hunts beer?
Sits next to him. United States, a big hand. The Beer Hunter.
I don't know why they're all running Sanyu.
Round one is Dan Diamond, Dan Mayo.
Diamond Dan. Here he is. Diamond Dan. I've not seen this. I've got a good feeling about Diamond Dan, alright? If I was allowed to bet on this, I'm going Diamond Dan.
Alrighty.
Not me.
We're gonna do the countdown and you all are gonna help. Are you ready, Andrew? We're gonna do the countdown. Alright.
What were the headphones for? Presumably to help you focus, right? I don't know if it doesn't look like they've got like sound dampening ones.
Ready? Three, two, one, go!
Alright, the crowd is pumped.
Some stuff under his belt, but
Alright, does anyone actually understand it? Like, does anyone know what the game's just started, right? And we can see here it says, let me full screen it for you. So we can see it says game 1, game 2, game 3, right? Like, so what's the play? Okay, alright, Sion's got it. You have a set of data and have to answer questions, but the magic is making a sheet full of variables and pivots that let you answer the funkier shit. Okay, so you start with nothing, right? You just start with a blank data set. So you start with a blank data set. You try and build something that will help you answer the questions, and you just try and answer the questions. I actually had a job interview where I once had to do something like this. I didn't get the job. Maybe I should have been fucking scrimming.
all right, here we go.
Let's see it,
Level
though.
3 complete. Peter Charles out in front with 440 points. We got Michael Jarman just behind, along with Patrick Chatain. Here's Patrick. He's looking at level 2, and he does have bonus to those next levels.
Right.
Okay, so we got just 15 seconds now to elimination.
Hiya,
And
Cams.
we still have a tie, so we will not see a player eliminated until that tie is broken.
Or if the next eliminate, your country is counting on you.
Yeah, and here we're seeing Michael out in the lead. Got all first 5 levels complete. 4 bonus points. You might complete this entire case.
Fuck, Diamond Dan is slacking. Fuck.
Oh,
wait, he popped off?
This entire case.
Yes. See, there's it. See,
Wow.
these. Oh my gosh. See, these. He probably was sitting on points.
Yep.
See, now Jakob, the guy from Poland, come on now, he's on the
I don't know why we're excited. I'm enjoying that he's excited, but I don't know why we're excited.
Now Chastain! Oh my God! Come on, Chastain!
Our second top 8 competitors looking to get into the finals. We're going to take our top 8 competitors into
He
the
pre-calculated a
finals
bunch to knock out Diamond Dan.
Our second seed, second favorite here, Darren Early. And
I think it's fair to say this is probably a game. It's actually probably way easier to watch live than it is to watch highlights, right? Like watching it live, you can probably understand it a little bit better. Highlights are a bit hard to interpret.
we already have some points on the board. Liana Garish.
Liana Garish.
Yeah.
And Liana Garish is in from the last chance from last night.
Yeah.
And you noticed something about her last night, right?
I did, yeah. So We had a chance to watch that last chance qualification round last night, and there was 27 people in the room, all solving a case like this, and they took the top 8 here. We have the top 8 of those players competing in these 2 semifinals as we see Dearman working on this case. But what I noticed, which was interesting, Oz, was that the room was silent for like the first, I'd say, minute to 2 minutes. Just everyone's reading the case review. And again, that level 4.
There's no way I could complete one, Zion.
Jay and Dan, are they stuck? What's happening?
Yeah,
they have
could
not
be.
moved. Or could it be they're stacking up points?
I think that level 3, that's the one with the you have to find the sum of all 9, and that's a challenging one. It's just not something you normally do every day in Excel. So that's a tough one. But level 4 is also tough. You have to find running totals, and those running totals can essentially continue on in the next row down. So that also makes this really challenging. As you can see there on the screen, it says they run over or can.
There's the full VOD.
Next row.
Surely we're not watching the entire VOD. How long is it?
Rose, I am.
Oh, it's a 3-hour VOD. It's a 3-hour VOD. We don't have time. We don't have time.
90 seconds until the next elimination.
Okay.
Okay. All right, here's right. Okay.
We'll see what Harry can do here with 40 seconds to go.
Come on, Harry. 40 seconds, mate.
He now needs 100 points. Brandon keeps eking up that, or keeps widening that gap just a little bit. Just adding some points here and there on level 4.
Little bit.
Yeah. And he does have
30 seconds.
Bonus level 1.
Woo!
30 seconds, Harry.
50, so that helped him out too. Oh, can Harry get something going?
Anything.
Come on, Harry, get it going.
15 to go. They have to also post these scores on a separate sheet.
Gotta post
10 seconds remaining.
10 seconds. 5 to go. He's got to post
them. Post them, Harry.
Throw the Hail Mary.
Anything.
Hail Mary.
This is when you start guessing.
And that's time.
It's over.
Fucking hell, Harry. Come on. We still have the highlights. There's the belt. This is like the fucking Grammarly ad. I've not seen the Grammarly ad. Oh, fucking. Oh, imagine you turn up for the XL Esports. You have fucking front row seats at the bar. The bar's just fucking here. You've got fucking chips and nachos on the way. Oh, what a fucking day out this would be, no? What a great day out this would be.
You have to think twice about it, right? And I cannot wait to see what the contestants do with this case. We're called Spreadsheets in Space, so let's see how these.
Is he the case maker?
To space. Good luck to everyone.
I love it. All right. Hands up if you are ready. Ready? You're gonna
ready.
be ready to do this again for one last time. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right.
All right.
Look at this. Woo! Okay. Niels
Whoa,
is here.
Andy out straight with 100.
Let's see what's happening.
Example, or on case 3 is on the right we have a fleet formation, so they're taking different amounts of ships.
All right. What's happening with Peter Charles? What is Peter Charles doing? Okay, let's look at his screen. Okay, he's got 290 points. Okay,
Yeah, so he's tied with Willem.
Yeah.
290 points.
Right.
And then we have a tie, a 4-way tie.
It's kind of just like watching someone work at an office.
He's like, you're not going to get me.
He's the only one with close completion on level 4 and level 5.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and those levels have...
You can tell he's a pro, because watch here. I use Excel quite a bit, and I've never typed a formula this smoothly. I'm always starting to check I'm putting the right thing in. Just types this so smoothly.
Close completion on level 4 and level 5.
Yeah.
That's how you can tell he's a pro.
Yeah, so, and those levels have more points available. Level 5, 220, and level 6 will have 240 points. So that's really going to move him up if he can get that. On level 3 there. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
It's just 5 points.
Just 5.
Yeah.
Just 5 points.
Man, it's so close. And Willem has partial points for level 4, so
we'd be here forever, Plum.
Moved on to level 4, got some partial points there, which right now working
certainly
intently.
those bonus levels are probably easier overall.
Think so? Okay,
Compared
Willem.
to level 6 and 7.
Okay, what's Willem doing? Willem's 15% of level 4. What is Willem doing right?
What's he doing?
Oh, no, he's looking around. Looks like he smells some stinky feet. Look at that feet, face
What?
he had on there. What? Come on, man.
What's happening? What's happened?
Let's see.
What's he doing?
Michael's doing his well.
Wait, can I get an explanation?
15%.
Is it a fucking announcer? Walking around? These guys are trying to win the fucking world championships and they just got some fucking client walking around stomping while they're trying to lock in? I'd be fucking tilted.
Of level 4. What is Willem doing right? Oh, no, he's looking around. Looks like he smells some stinky feet. Look at that feet, face he had on there. What?
He's fuming.
Let's see.
You can see what Michael's doing as well, because he could potentially have to score some bonus points.
Down to top 3.
Level
Andrew
7
has a
really
huge lead, right? Huge lead here for Andrew.
Screen
It looks like we're really stumping them on level 6 and 7. They're moving around an asteroid field trying to find the
Only a
optimal
minute
path.
left.
So it's a lot of cell movement based on asteroid value.
Really challenging.
That's really challenging.
Yeah.
Over is over. All right, and Andrew now he's looking around. He's taking his headphones off. What is he doing? Okay, is he safe? Is he safe?
He thinks he's won.
This is bold.
He thinks he's won. This is the equivalent of. Do you remember when the iconic Usain Bolt 100-meter win, where he looks around and realizes he's just won by a country fucking mile? This is the XL equivalent of that we're watching. He's looked around. He's realized he's won. Arms are folded. He thinks he's won. He thinks he's won. They can't catch him.
Look at this guy. Look at
15 seconds.
13, 10, 9.
Oh, come on.
8,
What is
7,
No.
6.
No,
It is all over, boys and girls.
He knew it. He
Ladies
knew
and
it.
gentlemen, children of all age, we have our new winner.
But Usain Bolt of XL.
Oh, man.
Stylish. Let's get him the belt.
Andrew.
Look.
Crowd are going wild. Fuck. Andrew smoked him. God damn. Easy for Andrew. He's the proper. He can't be the proper because he actually won. So he's the lip. Yeah, true. Let's move to something a little bit lower octane then, as we take on Peps v Ents. Or the Gaming Gladiators, as they are currently known.
It's been hard to really knock them down. However, didn't have the best run coming into playoff chase. We're going to roll out on University.
Wow, it's amazing.
All right, watch a couple of these maps. Probably just until about 7, so like for about an hour or so. We'll cop a little bit. Hold on, 2 seconds. Have I got a good message or a bad message? Okay. It's fine. Anyway, cracking on.
So do even newer look coming out here from Eds to see if it pays off.
Okay. Lucio down or
Newer look. A Baptiste player is actually going to be rolling out.
Me when I see. All right, so a full-on Malgamira. I mean, this is not going to be the most useful thing for Ents, right? Because I pressed the wrong button. Let's fly back. Yeah, so it's not going to be the most useful for Ents just because these 3 players are going to be different. In fact, it will only be for 2 DPS players who are the same at the Esports World Cup. So we'll try and keep our attention mainly on the Gaming Gladiators here. And Trent just hit the big old early slam. We just get one shot as a result. Oh.
okay. Lucio down already. Wow. This almost never
Stop doing that. I just got incredibly fat fingers, I think. Fat fingers or bad coordination, one of the two. Zodiac gets a couple of late trades, so they can come back in here.
And that was definitely a big reason why Peps were able to get that 3-0 upset over Space Station the other day. But it's interesting to see the Pharah, rather than something that Kevster is more known for, like the Echo, which I feel like is even a better counter here to the Pharah.
It'd be interesting how much this Pharah nerf really comes into play, right? Because obviously this version that Peps are playing right now probably feels like they've got both their DPS players on two of their strongest heroes, you know? But I don't know how viable it'll be going forward. I'd never, exactly, I would never make it at VXL. It would, ironically, it would probably, it would actually be, it would be the macro. There's a pun there somewhere. But it'd also be the mechanics that would let me down in the VXL World Championships. Both would let me down.
Unbelievable gods of EWC so far. We'll see how he does against Ents, of course. Gods of EWC.
What even happens here? Again, it's just chase. I mean, yeah. This is how we felt watching the other Ents game as well against Virtus Pro, you know. They punish him, Kitsune rush back. Yohan doesn't quite have it yet. They've lost Kevster too, and it's just a bit of a disaster from Ents. Yeah, I mean, they did it, they won the fight. A little bit of a gift, really. A gift there from Ents more than anything.
But now that Peps have control, they have this fire barrage ready to go, and the cage not too long after that with their...
Alright, so Kitsune rush around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, they got a rush advantage. Might as well use it. Chase, look at how healthy Chase was. Not anymore.
Alright. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, they got a rush advantage. Might as well use it. Chase, look at how healthy Chase was. And bada bing, bada bing, it's a little bit more.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of stall here, but I think that, like, when you take a look at...
Now, lots of bolts coming into play. Probably start with a high noon. If you're... They're actually going to swing early with high noon and cage. Did they just miss Suzu? It's just a Suzu miss, right? Because if they're getting us off, Zodia was probably killing a whole bunch of people. Also, in an ideal world, if I can get... In an ideal world, if I'm Tread, I actually want to cage in a way where Zodial's not inside the cage, right? Because then Zodial can use the shield of the cage. So, yeah, could better setup here, better execution, and we could just not mess up our cooldowns as well, you know? Maybe there's an argument Naga could be slightly closer to the swing as well, but like small things. He'll get there. Yeah, Naga's like half a second slow, but it's not the end of the world. Counter barrage from Naga though, does catch one. Hunting back from Kai! Gets free before he goes down. Alright. Is Ghost not going to be a woke up? Yeah, he's not being put on the roster. So I think Sky is going to be their primary flex support. More than anything. Sky will play all of the maps.
But if you're gonna have a pop-up like that, Kai, I mean, even after these Cassidy changes, Kai was able to get 3 there with that high noon. That's insane. And that one ends that fight. Now there's not really a whole lot left here. Ghost is gonna have another rush, but like, I think that might just be all you need here. I'd put themselves in such a position.
Neutral Kitsune rushes for both. Enters slightly sooner. I just found a pick here. Just a classic Zodial gap. Can Kev get the counter gap? No. They've disengaged the Kitsune rush at the same time. Zodial also finds a pick. This is part of the reason I think Peps have looked so good at these comps. Is mostly the macro is good in terms of their understanding, and their disengages in particular are something they do better than most teams. Certainly better than Ents. Alright, Kitsune rush advantage now for Yohan as well, so they should just be able to finish it on this timing, really. We've seen them go, like, this area, we've seen Peps always try and go in this area every single time. Because it's a very difficult area to get through. They're going to have a high noon swing. They do manage to split them here. Oh, fuck. Surely Tread's savable in this situation, right?
And they're about to come in and do just that.
Because it's reasonable, right? You see him... We got some Ents players here. We got a couple of Ents players here. So you want to try and push one of the split players while this High Noon's going off. So these people seem the most reasonable to try and get. FD God's going to be there for a boop as well. It just feels like... Need to rebind these buttons, honestly. But just should be quicker on the Suzu here. Just to be quicker on the Suzu here. It's because the skip button and my pen is the same thing. Can I change? I guess I can't really change binds on YouTube. I need to do it on something else. Then they all get traded as a result. Should be an illegal maneuver, honestly. So they kind of let Peps back into this when they really had no right to. They're going to Kitsune Rush to try and clutch, but... Suzu around the corner, later Suzu onto Chase, but he is still super low. They can turn this kill, they might still be able to win. Barrage from Kevster's pretty good, actually. Kai gets one as well. Absolute disaster there from Peps.
Might be able to play or Winston.
Yeah, the flexibility is crazy from Sigma comp because that was generally what was the best pick.
All right, so Doom comp now from Ents. Ash from Kai as well.
A little bit more flex here in the Doom Fist of all things. Oh, Exodia's in trouble. Oh, easy kill. Had Dynamite. You needed someone like Chase to kind of round out the comp. And
yeah, generally speaking, when you're up against Dive or something, you just need to be really careful if they get caught. Because essentially, because they're just all here quicker, Ents have now just got this crazy high ground set up as they try and rotate underneath, you know? So a lot of the time it can just be safer to just play like the point fight, essentially, and just play a slow and pokey fight because your comp has way better poke than their comp, you know? So it feels a bit greedy to try and do this. Zodial's going to drop down a slightly different way. The peel's not there for him. And an easy first fight again. Easy first fight. Obviously, it's reasonable that Peps roll out in that way, because if it's Amalgam Mirror, you want to just meet him there or something. And reasonable enough to expect Ents could Amalgam Mirror in this scenario. But I think once you see Dive and you see they're already on the high ground, you maybe you just call it off, you know, just call it off. Gonna be swapping to Winston though, taking the Dive Mirror. So you still want to play this relatively brawly if you are Peps. You can play through the Doomfist a lot, just use your bubble advantage. They need to really be the initiators here because they don't have map control, and this is a really tricky point to flip. Trying to find a timing onto Kai on the high ground. They are going to swing with Zodial, but just shot back. Now the dive comes, but booped away. Tread's going to try and find another one, but Kev's just trying to mark him. Tread does get up this time and does get the bubble. Relatively defensive bubble, but he's going to try and go for one more. Does get Kai this time. And Chase just kind of missing, right? I don't really know what's happened to Chase. Just kind of doesn't do anything. Doesn't get involved, so... Peps managed to 5-man onto the backline there. They clean this one up. Oh.
A little stagger there, not a crazy one. You take what you can get.
I mean, City Center moment, that's Ents getting 50% murder, it feels like. But Chase is ready.
Alright, so Peps employing the same logic here, right? Where they want to fight in the big open area. In London Spitfire, we'd call this a cum zone. So if you're ever unsure what a cum zone is, that's what it is. So they try and go early, just a bubble trade onto Chase. They just blow Chase up as well. Kitsune rush back as a 1-for-1 trade. Beating response from FD God. Pulse bomb. Yeah.
Actually gonna switch over to the Winston. This is where I feel like he's really strong on this hero.
Just outrageous no from Zodial. Because he is standing on the Kitsune rush. When he presses high noon. And they used Suzu just beforehand. I don't know if they thought he was going to get the beat or something, but... don't know, you either match Kitsune there, I think, or you just try and, like, disengage it. And against Ent's able to clean up.
It's actually Johan that comes up with a frag on to Ghost. Very quick fight there. GG Peps again, showing kind of their aggressive style, Rose, coming into this match.
It is very aggressive, but it's coming out from Peps where it's
Alright, Malga swap now. They want to try and go top and clear this. They're getting harassed all over the place by chasing Kev. But Bob is up here too. Kitsune Rush comes through. They beat. Catches everyone but Kev. And they get the trade. They're trying to barrel down. Is Ghost getting all the picks? Fuck. Do I have a tabloid draw with? That's just my mouse. Just my mouse. Thank you, though. Maybe I'll become an artist.
He can play up front and very aggressive here. Maybe even to not be able to touch if you just boop him.
I'm just gonna go early here. Oh, it's really awkward. I think a Naga can get the touch though. Massa will mark it. Yeah, really hard one. They lose Johan, that should do it. They did trade Tread actually. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a hard one, right? Naga gets the touch, they lose the Johan on the way in, so there's just no healing for Tread. My handwriting is really good for just a mouse, that's why I say it. Oh, really? It's because, I guess it's because I just do it a lot, right? It's just from however many years of just writing. So, yeah. Fucking, I've jinxed it now. Now you've said it. Now you've said it, I'm just going to beef all the fucking letters. I've moved it from unconscious. When it was just an unconscious, not thinking about it, absolutely fine. Now I'm actively thinking about it. It's fucking cooked. Yeah, just practice, I reckon. Skip, skip, skip. Mid-town. Alright. Writing with mouse is actually impossible. It's just practice, Lucas. It's just because what you'll do when you first... Oh, we're gonna get pause it. When you first do it, what you'll realize is you've never used your mouse to write letters, you know? Like, it's just never something you ever have to do with a mouse, because why would you, right? The only situation where you have to frequently write is when you're coaching Overwatch and drawing on screen. Like, when I do private coaching or something, normally, like, I would kind of do, like, here's the summary, you know, of, like, here's your 3 points. Or here are, like, the 3 biggest things to focus on, or however many it is, you know? And I'll normally just sort of write those on the screen, or, like, write them in shorthand as well. This is the longest I've gone without holding my headrest. What do I do? It's normally that one. It's that one. I do it with both arms, actually, don't I? Both feel pretty comfortable. This left one feels more comfortable, though. This is the setup. And it's sort of like... What letter am I in the shape of? An R? It's R shape. What's happening? Why is the map dead? We've gone left side. Everything is okay. My lamp has been forced. Is Yoham just in main? Yeah, I guess Yoham's in main with Tread, right? And he just gets his lamp forced and dies. It's a soft one. Half a raccoon. I could cop it.
I feel like we've seen a lot of teams fall for this, where they just go into the sort of executing. They have the pieces, they make these rotations, you just have to make them fast.
I mean, good decision by Kev to write spots for split, spots that the BAP is the weak link. The BAP should be so hard to kill, though, in reality, right? Like, because if you're the BAP, I presume Crook is playing... Not Crook, sorry. Yoham is playing this position, so we can sort of pocket here. But surely you're just able to jump up onto, you know, the high ground above you where the train entrance is. And it should, in theory, be quite hard for Kevster to ruin your day in such a fashion. So I guess you should never underestimate old Kevin.
You're just so vulnerable. You're so dead.
You are indeed.
Well, this is why you never underestimate Kevin.
That's really rough.
Fair enough.
Keeping in mind as well, the threats actually to Kevster Rose to kind of illustrate your point here as well. The Sojourn.
They push to spawn, they get all the cleanups. So I think generally how you want this to look if your name is GG Peps is you want your Mei Lucio to go this way. And then what happens is your Sigma's going to swing, your Sojourn hopefully gets some kind of rail. And what you want your Sojourn to do once they have rail, that's the timing for your Mei Lucio to really try and ramp up the aggression and try and force something, right? Then what you're hoping is you swing on that timing with your Sojourn and you can find a rail, maybe onto the Ashe or maybe even onto the Tracer, you know. And these are actually the two people most likely to die in this scenario. That's generally how you want it to go, but it just feels like first fight they committed 3 people to this angle and Johan died too easily. And yeah, second time they just try and go in and Kevster hits a pulse bomb, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely, you can definitely feel it. And I think as well when you don't have something.
Alright, they're going to get free this time. They're going to get rid of Kevster. Kevster has been cleared. They're going to wall and try and peek this Sigma, but it's really tricky to get Vestlet off in this position. Fuck, they just walk into the Dynamite. Kai's just ready for it. They go for the window timing. They catch him. Kevster is once again killed for Baptiste. And easy for Kevin.
We have Ghost that's already used the amplification, may pop up with another pulse bomb.
Alright, what have they got this time?
So you're kind of hoping maybe like Kevster can pop up with another.
They try and wall off. This is for obviously they're trying to wall off the Ashe angle a little bit. Vestlet is still ahead.
Let's just say should, because I don't know how
Zodiac's gonna get rocked. They're gonna window out. They're gonna get Flux. Don't was really hoping to get into the thing there. They kill Johan before beat. Massa's got the beat back. Nagara's gonna freeze some stuff though. Vesta frozen. Lamp bounces as well from Ghost actually. Don't think it would have saved this either way. Yeah. I mean, it was just like, they just able to match all the ults there. Blizzard doesn't get the value they wanted. Alright, Zodiac's now gone Widow. I do actually quite like the Widow here. It's something Luminosity do all the time on their Midtown first attack. I think it's actually very good.
Yeah, I mean, this is just panic swaps at this point to try to get to the Widowmaker. And
Where is Zodiac going? Oh, I remember watching this live and I was just like, why the fuck did Zodiac bother? If we're going to go into, we call this bro house, but if you're going to go into the bro house, what's the point of taking our Widow with us?
Flux is going to be enough, and you're stuck in a small room now.
SMG Widow, it's looking rough for GG Peps. They have got a tip.
Bacon pancake with the timeout. Well, rules are rules. Honestly, the nature of the timeout perk is doesn't take a lot. Whatever is enough to motivate someone to take out someone else. As long as you got 10,000 points, take them out. All right, so not only did we take our Widow all the way to Bro House, we actually let our Widow just get killed in Bro House as well. So we've taken her all the way there just to let her die anyway. Tread, oh fuck. Thought he had him, and it's a C9 on top of it. Great. All right. Okay. Alright, they've got Malga on the defense here. Oh no. We've had a counter-aggression. The great Queefster divide of 2024. Unfortunately, on both sides of the Queefster divide, there's actually reasonable funding on both sides of the argument here, so it's gonna be an absolute bloodbath. All right, they're gonna go train. Just a big swing out. All right, or they're gonna get a giant slam. But the nice thing is, it's actually really hard to slam in this area. Because even though you can get a good slam like Tread did, you get crazy value lamp. It's really hard for the rest of Peps to peak with this. Kind of exactly like we see, right? Like they get maximum lamp value. Really hard for anyone to peak properly with Tread. And now they just have tank advantage. So they can just walk forward, clear angles. Deal with this Genji, maybe? Deal with the Genji. Deal with this, what do we got here? Kiri. Was Felucio here as well? Can we catch Felucio? Alright, some of the easiest kills you'll see Kevs to get. Cool. Alright. So this one obviously just become a dogfight, right?
I feel like you don't want to face Jakey.
You can, yeah, no.
Stronger for so I feel like
Chat is lonely now. Yeah, well, just a lot of fallen people on both sides of this.
in this case, and we've also seen teams like Toronto Defiant.
All right, so Peps are gonna go Malga still. Peps are playing a pretty classic version of what most teams seem to come to the conclusion the meta was at the time. Ents are gonna go Doomfist because reasons unknown. Doom probably better than obviously Winston into this. What happened?
Just kind of sit on the points. Got to wait for those cooldowns. Good thing about GG Pep's composition, they can just kind of sit on the points. One good thing about GG Pep's composition, they can just kind of sit on the points. Got to wait for those cooldowns to
Just catch Massa.
They chase down Massa.
I mean, that's what you can kind of do. If in Pep's comp you can play aggressively. No Suzu? Maybe I've missed the timing for what you were talking about.
they're still like so low though. I mean, you just take a look at
Oh, you mean on the Malga slam, right? Yeah, I think he would have died anyway. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if Bess was able to block it or something. Maybe that was the case. But it's like, yeah. I think it's just they just can't go fight in that train area, really.
something like the
Too easy a kite. So yeah, it's a pretty tricky matchup for Ents, because Peps can play aggressive here if they want. They can take a lot of space. But also they can kind of just sit and shoot, you know. Let Zodiel and Naga do the work and hope to catch anyone, be quite proactive. Ents have to play really harassy and not get caught at all. Low and steady.
Doesn't require as much consistency to hit either.
Kitsune rushes up for both teams. No real progress of any note has been made. Tread's going to make the money move now. They're gonna... It's just so early now, you know, like... Just going to go this... Maybe if you go this area and press Kitsune rush, but kind of wait and see what happens, you know, because it feels like... This is... When they do it this early, it becomes the easiest decision in the world for Ents just to kind of leave. So they manage to peek onto the high ground. They give Chase big punch, just going to make their next kite a little bit harder. So they use Kitsune rush for nothing. Now Ents have a clear opening. We're going to peek up. Now the punch comes through. So they've given Chase big punch. He's going to use that to punch their only support ult in the face. Yeah, not that great. Not that great at all a start from Peps. Okay. It's now a difficult low ground retake. Given Massa time to get beat as well in this one as well. There was a big beat advantage for FD God, but that is now dissipated. Trying to come underneath. I remember this one actually. This one's fucking beautiful. This is after the Sojourn changes, you know, where you get collateral with rail no matter what. And fuck me. The punch. Yoham and Zodiel. Ah. Beautiful. 2 for 1 for Kai. Yeah, I think I remember when I watched this at the time, it started to really feel like a 3-0. Because that's like, you win that fight for 0 ults, your snowball's starting to look really good.
Twitch clip right there. Oh my god. Really
Alright, loads of free push.
No checkpoint though, sadly. And tap the high ground, so many ults to work with. Don't really want to use that beat straight away. Gonna save for Tredo.
Alright, Kai's gonna drop overclock. I'll disengage it. Are they gonna cage actually? Do they catch? Who's caged? Are they catch Chase? They'll get Chase. Alright. Reasonable enough cage. Survives the overclock, catches Chase. Gonna lose Naga, but they can keep pushing up anyway. The cage fight should be the slam dunks, really, for the Peps fight. What have we learnt today? Asked Jubiok. We've learned maybe we just hate all main supports. Or in general, there's like a bigger divide between like the elite main supports and the rest of the group compared to a lot of other roles. We've learned that a lot of Virtus Pro's problems felt not isolated to the sort of ground comp versus dive matchup. In fact, their whole play in any matchup just seems to be littered by sort of dumb mistakes, which is really holding them back. Felt like their comp decisions in some places were pretty bad. I think Rajaro probably played too much Sigma, not enough Ram in a lot of situations. And I think that's really holding them back. So I'm actually pretty down on Virtus Pro compared to maybe where I started before our period of research.
They have 6 minutes left. Like they're going into a rush. Double support ultimates for both teams.
High noon separating the back line events there. Chase, you
Only just tuned in, you got a full summary. Nice, Toishi. Shubiok with a perfect timing. Okay, did anything happen for this high noon? There's just like two things going on here a little bit, right? Like they're going to clear the Doomfist, but they're also high noon in main, so it's I don't know. Like they could have just cleared the Doom anyway. So Chase is going to commit with a Meteor Strike. Pulse Bomb comes in as well. They kill Ghost on the way in. Gonna double support ult. Maybe it doesn't feel awful because Ents did press both buttons as well. So I think as long as presuming that Pep's using these reactively, I think the decision's good. Ghost is going to go first, then Mass is going to go. And then they're both going to react. Yeah, I don't hate it.
Unfortunately, it was just pancaked on the floor. FD got pushed into the bot. That is GG Peps. I wonder if that soundbar. I don't think that soundbar got interrupted.
You think the Ram was not as viable and as 20 as he usually is? Yeah, I guess the problem with is the Malga swap is really on versus the Ram, right? Which can make you in this sort of weird situation. This was the kind of triangle, right? It was like Ram. That's an M. Ram, Malga, Sigma. And there was this kind of like this kind of triangle on the go a little bit for a lot of teams. No meta leak so far. Much to I think a lot of people's annoyance. I've been very coy and very reserved with any kind of scrim leaks. What I will say is the bans are obviously helping vary the meta because it's just forcing a lot of kind of weird variations of stuff. But I think even without the bans, we'd actually find ourselves in a relatively varied meta as things are. I think a lot of things seem viable, and right now at least, I think a lot of teams have slightly different reads on stuff as well. You know, so it'll be interesting to see. Right now, as is often the start, there's a lot of variety in what everyone's playing. But after everyone's been playing for a week or so, does it sort of contract in towards like a more cohesive idea that everyone has, or will we still see the variety?
Two beat shoots in the fight as well. Checkpoint in the sights here for GG Peps, but Ents is so quick to come back, Rose. Their comp is so fast.
Yeah, with the Doomfist
Right, now there's of a hunt here. Smells blood. FD God will get him as well. Alright, it's a bit of a chance now for Peps, actually. Is the armor change big? Nah, not really. Doesn't feel all that different at all. Like, things have changed, but I don't think any... You know, you can tell the changes, but it just sort of shifts the balance a little bit more than anything else.
wasn't able to, like...
Right, Pep's out in control.
Unusual fight coming up. No ultimates online. Oh, dearie me, that was close.
Oh! Kai with a cheeky peek. They're just quick on the other side, though. They catch Massa.
That cardiac overdrive just so good in the neutral, but they do end up trading. Once again, it's the Tracer stealing away the pots. This time around, it is
Holding the choke.
the checkpoint, and it's
Oh my god.
no good in the neutral, but Exodia actually finds the initial pick. That cardiac overdrive just so good in the neutral.
Yeah, just Kai and Kevster.
Once again, it's the Tracer stealing away the pots. This time around, it is Naga secure.
Felt like a reasonable enough peak, honestly.
Move it meters as well, Rose, which is quite important in the grand scheme of things. Couple of meters gained for
Felt like a reasonable enough peak now to be aggressive with.
But you still have to win this next team fight very convincingly. Otherwise, I feel like Peps are just gonna keep...
Pep's gonna come high ground. Might just walk into a Kitsune rush here. They're gonna flip, actually. They've come out the far high ground.
to the other side.
Gonna try and flip. Oh! I don't catch anyone. Tread's already stopping the point, though. Kai's going to drop the overclock, but they've cleared point. Kai just going to try and go high ground and get out. What's Kai's exit strategy? Yeah, just regroup and live. Alright, back on. Top. Cage. Alright, big aggressive cage in. Just catch them all, to be fair. Oh, needs to minimize trades. Only FD God isn't too bad. Okay, not too bad at all. Now they've got a decent chunk of lead here. They're going to hold high ground. Going to give Chase big punch. Why? Because why not, you know? Why not make your life a little bit harder?
Got media strike too, so he can play very aggressive in the front line. Hasn't got a fear anymore of Shred's ultimate either.
Yeah, but power block only lasts for so long.
Alright, there's the big punch. Chase can double down and keep going. We'll get another big punch after this as Kitsune rushes are traded. Yoham in trouble. They beat out. Alright, they now survived for two big punches. They've dealt with Ghost. Dealt with Kai. It's just a bit of a dogfight. Hard to see exactly what's going on. What is probably true, though, is if you are Team Peps, the hardest ults to deal with are probably the two support ults. So if you can just mirror them in every situation, like your Peps, you probably feel relatively okay about it, you know? I don't know if I'm Ents. What I need to try and find is more times to try and bait and disengage support ults or something, or try and trade them. Like, one thing you would do on the Winston version of Dive quite a lot if you were Ents, is you would try and find situations where you'd engage with Primal to try and maybe hopefully force out a Kitsune Rush or a beat, and then disengage, you know, and you'd sort of just try and trade one of your ults for one of their big support ults, and then you'd maybe have support ult advantage. I don't know if you can kind of do the same with Meteor Strike, obviously, but it doesn't feel like Ents have really done that all that much. I remember this one. Obviously, for those who aren't aware, this was back when the cast speed changes had just come in, so comes flying out. But Boop is actually a really good find for FD God, right? Because we see Massa just get caught a little bit, you know, on the architecture. You can't see it, but you see FD God get out and just get this big old boop. Really nice from really nice setup.
Not to be. GG Peps pushing on. 1 minute and 20 seconds to go as Ents kind of fumbling.
The two sides of a Queefster war are back together.
Pretty sizable lead that GG Peps have been able to gain. I know we're looking.
Thank you. I'm going to say this name wrong.
But this is a lot. Like, this is 30.
Humna double. Humna double.
I'm not believing in this.
Humna double.
I was wondering if Chase would switch off if it's.
I've got the last bit. Last bit is double. I'm sure of it. But I'm having a good day, actually. It's been a long day so far. One thing that human readable? Fuck. I'm not. I guess I'm not human then, because it was not readable for me. Shit. Fucking expose. Yeah, it's been a good day. It's been a long day. Because the boot camp's happening in Korea, it means I'm waking up I'm waking up at 5:30 for a 6 a.m. start, you know. So by the time the stream starts here, I'm like 9.5 hours into my day, you know. So long days, but enjoyable days.
Ripping the overclock, can't seem to find everybody. Oh, the tree is too powerful. It's too strong. It's too strong.
I'm being invited to the SSG scrims, so having a good time. That's a formidable grind set. Well, I'm taking it. What can I say? I'm taking it seriously, you know. I think. I mean, all I'll say for like comps and meta stuff is like everything's on the table still, right? It feels like we're seeing a huge variety. Even I think even without bans, we'd be seeing huge variety. I think what I'm gonna do today is today Wednesday? Today sure is Wednesday. So tomorrow on Thursday, I'm gonna do the same schedule again. Then Friday, I'm cancelling the stream actually because I want to make a preview video. And then Saturday and Sunday we're scrimming, and then we're streaming. So we're back on full schedule. And then is it Monday I fly out? No, Tuesday I fly out. Is it fun? Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. Like for me especially, obviously I spent a long time with like the SSG core. So it's proper like there's a nice level of nostalgia and revisiting, you know. And also, what's quite nice about scrims is obviously like if I have anything useful to say, I'll fucking help the team, you know. But there's actually no pressure on me, right? Like there's no I need to solve it, right? So that's quite nice as well. I get like all the benefits of just hanging out and having fun, but with none of the pressure to actually solve the problems, you know. Like, obviously, I'm going to try and help while I'm there and literally watching, but if I don't have any solutions, fuck it. It's just some fucking streamer we know. So I'm just going to hang out a little bit. Plus, Chris was away today, so I was, Chris had to delay his flight, so Chris was only flying today, which meant I was, what's the word? I was like, full substitute teacher. So I was like, what should we ban? Just fucking ban this, shall we? Give it a crack. So, it was fun. Doesn't matter if the bans make sense, does it? Just ban some stuff. You want to play Winston? Not today. You know how it is. I think actually, I won't say the teams because I don't think that's fair, but we played 3 blocks today. Chris had arrived by the 3rd block. First 2 blocks, the ones where it's just me being substitute teacher, we win both of them. Fucking smoked. All these so-called good coaches fucking losing to a streamer. First time banning heroes? No problem. Oh, I remember this. This is the infamous tree clip. Tree the tree, not tree the player, for clarity.
Ripping the overclock, can't seem to find everybody. Oh, the tree is too powerful. It's too strong. It's too strong. Wishing for a band-aid on this wound of this fight. Ripping the overclock, can't seem to find.
It's a reasonable attempt from Kai to make a play, but fuck.
It's too strong. Seem to find everybody.
Did he hit the chain twice? Wait, should we? Can we hit a slow-mo and advance on this? This would be much easier in this would be much easier with a replay viewer. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let's see. On a scale of how unlucky was Kai? Oh my god, it's so hard to see. That one's tree. I think it's gone through the chain. That one's chain. That one's chain. So he hits tree, then chain. Is it chain again? It's actually a chain gap, I think. I think you might be right, Fredo. I think it might be a tree chain situation. Considering the chain is doing like a fucking skip rope motion just spinning around. Feels relatively unlucky. Alright, and then not only will Kai get gapped by the chain, he will then get gapped by gapped by Zodial.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, especially when you've got the rush and
This is what you get for playing Sojin.
This is a good win condition scenario for Pepsi.
When it ends signing the chain, soon, soon. sign the chain just as your main support, and your other support can just fucking duck behind it constantly. All right, few seconds left. They've got him on the ropes. Oh, I remember this one. This is just a Zodial fucking takeover. What if he doesn't miss a shot? All right, all right, all right. So I think the important thing to try and take away from this, I'm going to stop there because it's getting to dinner time, so we'll watch the other two maps tomorrow. But I think the important thing I want to take, and the reason this middle game is important for Peps, is this game Peps being good? Or is this Ents being bad? Or how much of column A, column B, right? So far, I guess what is obviously of note is that this win is a good win. They made some nice plays in it, you know, but also they were playing just versus a Doom dive comp, right? So I think there's a real argument here. Ents aren't playing a particularly strong comp in the meta that we're watching either. So I don't know if this first map at least hasn't massively shifted my opinion. In the absence of scrim partners, Ents are scrimming versus Esperanza environmentals. I mean, if you have to scrim against some environmentals, just some pieces of decoration, it's okay. The only problem is if you lose, which unfortunately it seems like Ents are currently on the ropes against the chain, which is a big problem. There is. Yeah, if you're trading maps with a length of chain, it probably doesn't feel super great. So this should be our starting point tomorrow, I think. This Saravasa. Maybe I should save this somewhere. Copy video at current time. Let me put this somewhere in my notes. Thursday stream. Timestamp. Cool. Alright. So yeah, so I think we learnt about Virtus Pro. Did I do SSG earlier today? No. So we did Virtus Pro earlier today. And we started Peps. We'll finish Peps tomorrow. And maybe we'll start SSG. Because I think when I look at teams, we've looked at all the Korean teams, right? Tick. 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 We've looked at Toronto. Tick. We've looked at... We can't look at LGD, obviously. We're not going to look at Loaded or The Greatest Showman or at Bleed. Then the problem is, I think we're not going to really look at Twisted Minds or Ents either, just because the roster changes are quite substantial. So then we've looked at Virtus Pro now. Virtus Pro also done. So this leaves the Peps that we're currently in the process of, and then yeah, I mean the Nightmare one's a little bit awkward as well again because of roster changes. So I don't know how much I really look at that either. M80 again doesn't feel all that useful. Maybe we'll watch like one of their maps or something, you know. And then SSG is the other big one to look at. So when am I streaming? So I'm streaming tomorrow, so we'll definitely finish Peps tomorrow, confident on that. Maybe do Peps and we'll tidy off M80 as well, right? And then Friday I'll have off, and then SSG can be maybe Saturday's job. Why not Bleed? So I don't think they're going to do anything at this event. Honestly. I think there's sort of like Loaded and Bleed and The Greatest Showman are kind of like really set just to finish 4th in all their respective groups. So I don't think there's that much to look at. I mean, if we have time, but for me, it's pretty low priority to look at Bleed, if I'm being honest. Thanks, Eyes. Forgot I added this as my raid thing. Thank you, Icefo. Thank you, had a good stream. I am actually about to end as well, so we're gonna we might have to, I'm gonna have to pass you on again. Virtus Pro Believer. I think they'll get out of groups, but I think they're in probably 3rd place. What we'll do once I've done all the teams looking through, so probably by the end of Saturday, I'll do like the full bracket prediction, you know, in terms of who's going to come out of groups, who's going to go where, how I think the drafts will go, and all stuff like this, you know. You think Virtus Pro number 1? I'm not so sure. Have you joined just as it ended? Yes, Artemis. You are here just in time to see me raid someone else. So, I'll start at the same time again tomorrow. We were a little bit late today because scrims overran. But I don't think... I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen tomorrow. Let's see. Maybe we will be starting late tomorrow. And we'll get a bit of an overshot. Let's see. Okay. Oh, yeah. Good day tomorrow, hopefully. You're really sure, are you lagging? Alright. I'll wait and I'll see. I'll wait and I'll see. But I appreciate the optimism. So, yeah, thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. I'll see you same time tomorrow for more of this. Laggy does manage them, to be fair. Yeah, but... You know what I always say, Artemis? Never trust a fucking manager. Never trust a manager. That's my opinion. No offense, of course, Artemis and Laggy. No offense. But... You never want to take the how scrims are going from somebody who is on the team, because they'll just fucking lie to you. They'll just fucking lie to you. Whatever called coaches managers in Britain. If you mean like in football, Enks, I think what it originally stemmed from is in football teams, especially early on. It's maybe less true now. A lot of teams are more robust, but the manager would be much more the manager of the club in the sense that their roles weren't just the head coach and all the tactical and player and roster decisions. They would also be responsible for, like, just in charge of everything. In charge of all the signings and the transfers, in charge of the training ground, in charge of loads more things. So they'd have much bigger responsibilities that are more suited to the title of a manager than maybe just a head coach, because their roles were much more expansive than that. Obviously, in the modern era, it'd probably be fairer to say that most of them do kind of just have head coach responsibilities, which I think is the term they use in like NFL, right? You just have like the head coach and then the defense and the offensive coordinator, which are like, I guess, the two like equivalent of like assistant coach positions. But yeah, that's kind of why that phrase has just kind of been grandfathered in from when they had like a bit more of a responsibility, because there was just not a billion staff at every football club like there is today. All right. Yeah, all managers are clients now. I think that's fair to say. That's what I'd say. Where do we want to go then? Who do we want to go have a cheeky looking at? Just I need to Smurf. A rare Smurf host. PGE. Apply. Some random small streamer. Smurf. Ooh, couple of Smurfs on the go. Chasm. I think, yeah, let's do Smurf. Smurf seems to be winning the popular vote. Yeah, I've never really spoke to Chasm. Oh, that's right. I'm set on Smurf. I kind of had, I saw it lined up in my head. Go watch a bit of Smurf, you know? Always a sucker for watching Smurf play. He's currently on Sigma now as well, and he's rolling. Smurf Sigma are actually low-key really good. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll see you same time tomorrow, and we'll finish our Peps look at. I need to think of a better name for it than that. But we'll finish that. And we'll talk a little bit more. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. Yes, scouting is a much better word. Thank you, Anks. Imagine if I was a professional coach who used to do literally this job for a living and literally used to call it scouting. Fuck my life. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.